Okay. Hello, chat on, audioing. We're so back. I don't know why I'm so close to the edge of the screen. Hey, everybody. How are you doing? Doing well, I would hope. Someone said D'Angelo on one screen, working on another. Let's go. I hope you get something done. I'm going to try to get something done today. Whew. I am so tired of being cold. It is so cold where I'm at. Hey, everybody. Someone said the song gets more fire each new time you listen to it. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just saw the video with Foreign Fridays. I loved it. Good. I loved it too. I think it came out so well. I was so excited about that. All right. This is hype. This is hype. Hey, everybody. So many people. The intro song is such a banger. I appreciate it. Actually, I shouldn't say this. Or maybe I should say it, because then it's gonna like... I will have to stick with it if I admit it publicly. But recently I've been trying to get back into actually learning an instrument instead of doing all of my production electronically. And we'll see how it goes. No promises. I'm not going to reveal the instrument, but I'll let you know in a couple months if I kept up with it, or if I'm like, when did I say I was ever doing that? That's not true. I love the setup. Thank you. I love the setup too. It makes me feel super happy. Okay, if you're new to the stream, welcome. This is your first stream. Let me tell you what's going to happen. The first 30 minutes or so of the stream, it's always the same. It's just me yapping. It has nothing to do with the topic that's in the title. I like to give people some time to kind of stream in. I don't want to ever start like directly on time, because that's just not the vibe. And then we're going to get into talking about today's topic, which is Wuthering Heights, the film. I have all kinds of things to say about that. There's kind of a lot going on there. And then, chat, I actually have some other topics that I thought would be cool to talk about. Sometimes after the main topic, we just, I don't know, ramble. Last stream, we were just reviewing Grammy's outfits the entire time, I feel like, afterwards. But no, this time I actually have some other things for you. I have an agenda whenever I actually remember to prepare it. Let's see. No, or you know what? I'm not going to tell you what's on the agenda, actually. You can just be surprised. You can just be surprised. Someone said I adore the word yapping. Me too. I'm a certified yapper. Am I late? No. I started streaming 7 minutes and 52 seconds ago. Don't worry. You are so good. You're so good. Someone said I almost bought the book the other day. Is it good? I heard it's a classic. Yeah, Wuthering Heights is definitely a classic. You don't have to buy it if you want to read it. You can find it online for free because it's so old legally. It's not an easy read, not just because the characters in it are so Lord. But it's very, very well written. It definitely is a masterpiece and a classic for a reason. It does sort of show its age, I feel like, in terms of its structure. It can be kind of tedious to get through, but it's a pretty good book. It's a pretty good book. Someone said I hate this book. That's fine. I completely understand hating the book. I like it for what it is. I do think it's just such a deeply misunderstood book, the way people talk about it. I don't understand why it's seen as what it is. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people go into Wuthering Heights hearing that it's this amazing romance, it's the greatest love story of all time. And then you read the book and actually it's the worst people you've ever read on a page, proceeding to be the worst people to each other for like 400 pages. And then you're like, I hate this. Where was the good time I was promised? Wuthering Heights is not a good time. It's not a good time. It's not fun. But it is fun. You feel me? Reading chat. Someone said I was not rooting for Kathy or Heathcliff by the end of the book. They're both awful. Very much Wuthering Heights is like the blueprint for everyone sucks here. Almost every single character in the book is a horrible human being. Not all of them, but almost every single character in the book is a horrible human being. It's actually amazing. It's incredible. All right, what else we got? Someone said I remember side-eyeing the heck out of the librarian that recommended it to me. Yeah, no. I feel like if people were honest about what Wuthering Heights was, the book wouldn't be as hated as it was. Because if people were like, hey, this is an old story about obsession, toxic relationships, and abusive people doing horrible things and ruining each other's lives, you would go into it and get exactly that. And you'd be like, oh yeah, this is what this is. And it's pretty well written. And it has some points to make about generational cycles of trauma and stuff like that. But it really is, people are like, ooh, romance? And part of the reason, actually, I haven't even started talking about it yet, so I don't want to go too much into this point, but the new movie that's coming out is a big reason why people misunderstand the book. Because of the... Also, I feel like this happens a lot with literature where stories that are absolutely not love stories are for some reason interpreted as love stories by everybody. And like the reviews will say, oh yeah, this is a love story. And they'll get turned into movies, which are love stories. But then you read the book itself and you're like, oh, this is grooming. Or, oh, this is like toxic codependency. Or, oh, this is... It happens to me so often. I've cracked open so many books that were described as such only to be like, is the love story in the room with us right now? Oh my gosh. Reading the chat. Someone said, I feel like society misunderstanding classics is nothing new. Definitely not new. Someone said, please catch me up, King. Don't worry. You could go into this knowing nothing about the new Wuthering Heights movie. Now, that being said, because it is my typical thoughts on things, I'm not like 100% here to hate the movie. I have some points to make about whitewashing, fake PR relationships, which are just super annoying. Just the over-sexualization of literally everything, especially seems weird when you're taking stories that are actually about important topics and stuff like that, and just kind of general thoughts. So I don't like the new movie, but I guess I'm not as much of a hater of period inaccuracy as some people. And so I'm gonna kind of get into that too. Some people, there's so many valid critiques to have for Wuthering Heights, but I don't really hate the way it looks because I don't know. That's just me. I don't really hate the music or like the stupid costumes or the fact that they just decided to throw it out the window and not even try to do anything like that's accurate in any way. That part doesn't bother me as much as some other people, but plenty to be bothered by. Anyways. What else we got? Someone said, why is it called Wuthering Heights? That is... What, do you mean the movie? Why is the movie essentially called a version of the book that it's not even trying to adapt? It's a good question. Because low-key, I feel like if you wanted to just make some sort of like steamy, hot, dark Wuthering Heights inspired story, you don't really have to call it Wuthering Heights. But that's just my opinion. Someone said, wait, I just went on Insta. When the heck did D'Angelo get ripped and get his sleeve tatted? I wouldn't say that I'm ripped per se. But I be working on myself, you know? I be trying to look good. I have even more tattoos than I had in that picture of me from Instagram, which is so funny. I need to stop, but I'm probably not going to. I'm likely not going to stop until I don't have any blank skin left. I'm like, my face, I'll leave the face, but other than that, it's over for me. It's truly over for me. Reading chat, reading chat. Someone said it's not a direct adaptation. It is not a direct adaptation. No, it is not. That it is not. But it doesn't. One of the points I'm gonna make, I don't want to skip forward, is like, just because it's not, this is my opinion, just because it's not a direct adaptation doesn't really make it cool to just steamroll over any sort of important point that the source material may have had. Someone said, oh, this is drama I know personally about. As an owner and lover of Wuthering Heights, this movie pisses me off. Same. Pisses me. PMO. I am peed off. Pisses me off. Someone said, any advice for someone wanting to get a tattoo but being indecisive about it? Yes. I have really solid advice for you if you want to get a tattoo and you're indecisive about it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Laser sucks so bad, actually, and I believe tattoos should be a thing where like you're set. You have no more reservations. You're like this, that, the other. So yeah, sit with that feeling of hesitancy. Don't act on it. Keep waiting. Maybe if more and more years pass and you're like, actually, I don't know why I'm hesitating because I'm still okay with the idea of having one, go for it. But yeah, no, don't get a tattoo. No reason to do so. It's so permanent. You can't change it. You do get a weird sort of body dysmorphia. Well, I do immediately after getting a tattoo. And it's not good. It goes away really quickly. Does anybody here have tattoos? Did that happen to you? Where like you get it and you're like, oh, this is beautiful artwork. And then you look back and you're like, what have I done to myself? And then some more time passes and you're like, oh, just kidding. This looks so fire. And then you show everybody and then you won't shut up about it. That's essentially that middle step of weird hyperfixation on the new tattoo. If you already had hesitance, it's going to suck. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that. I don't want that for you. So someone said death happened with my piercings. Yes, any sort of body modification, there's like a disconnect between you accepting it as yourself. This is still my body, obviously, with metal in it and ink all over the place, but your brain has to catch up and it can be kind of excruciating. Someone said, as a tattoo artist with no tattoos, I've accepted the fact that I'm indecisive. Hey, you got to know thyself, as they say. You got to know thyself. Someone said I'm usually like, I can't believe I did this, and then I forget about them. That's me, though. I'd be forgetting that I have tattoos, seriously. Like, I go from fixating on them so hard that I just can't get over it to months later, and I'm like, oh, is that there? Or like people pointing them out, and I'm like, oh, thanks. Yeah, that does exist. I did put a clown on my shoulder for some reason. Thanks. Should I get a septum piercing? Actually, I'm kind of an advocate for septum piercings because you can't see them if you decide that you hate it. Look. Here's my thinking on this. Almost any other piercing, right? This one I have right here. You can't even ever see this one because I have just a tiny little stud in there. I've got one here. I've got one here. It leaves all these holes in your body. So even if you regret the piercing, you're going to see a hole in your ear and be like, ugh, why did I do that? You ain't never finna see the hole in your nose. With a septum piercing, you can get it, decide that you hate it, take it out, and have made no sort of visible change to your body. So that is one of the few piercings I would say you should get if you want it. Yeah, no, it's pretty dope, actually. People are saying get a septum. Yeah. Someone said, how about ring tattoos? Well, ring tattoos are different. Those are just small. It's kind of much easier to remove than a lot of bigger tattoos. Yeah, no. I'm talking about if you just like, oh, I kind of vaguely want like a dragon or a flower or something really dope, but I don't know how to feel about it. Skip it. Skip it. Sometimes I have my septum done. It doesn't hurt too bad. It really doesn't hurt too bad. Now, Fair warning. Some people will tell you it doesn't hurt at all if done properly. Maybe that's true, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I believe mine was done properly and it still hurt. I believe everybody is different. And so please prepare yourself for some pain. Maybe it doesn't hurt at all. I know that's a very common experience for the septum piercing. I just don't want you to sit in the chair and then you're like, oh no, this needle going through my body actually does hurt. And you're shocked. It might hurt. It really might. Reading chat. Someone said it mostly just stung. Yeah, it doesn't feel like nothing to me anyway. But that was my experience. Someone said snake bites are my favorite piercings. Snake bites are so cute. I really like them. Yeah, you see a lot of people in chat right now saying it hurt. Listen to these people. That could be you. It might hurt. It really might hurt. D'Angelo, how do you decide the topics to talk about? That's a good question. Essentially, I try to do a balance of topics that I think are important, topics that I just think are generally interesting, and then honestly, just topics that are fun. For me, today's topic, so fun. Even though there's elements of it that are annoying or whatever, I think we're going to sit through the stream and we're not going to be super depressed. I mean, I would genuinely hope no one's leaving my streams depressed in general. But what I mean is it's not exactly a case of like, oh, look, it's the worst people ever being horrible humans. I am always looking for topics like this. Point blank period. If 100% of any internet drama or entertainment news or whatever was like people are mad at a movie, I would just be there all the time talking about stuff like that because I vastly prefer those to stories where people are actually just being horrible. So it's a mixed bag. That being said, I have strong thoughts and opinions about people doing horrible things, so you'll get those as well. But yeah, the usual times when I'll decide not to talk about the topic is if I feel like it's been done to death. Just sometimes I have nothing to say about it. Like, y'all remember Colleen Ballinger and her ukulele apology? I just didn't have anything to say about that. I was so tired of hearing about it. Everybody's response was right. I was with you, but I was just a viewer in that case. I was like, this is so cringe. I don't want to give you a recap of everything bad Colleen Ballinger did and then be shocked at her ukulele apology, etc. So sometimes if I feel like a topic is fine, I'll just leave it. That being said, I'm not above covering topics that have been done to death. Yes, I have a Mr. Beast is bad video. Yes, I have probably a bunch of ones. I mean, even now, a lot of people are talking about Wuthering Heights, but yeah, I just go off vibes. Someone said I think about that apology every day. Dude, that apology pisses me off for many reasons, most of which because it's like slander for ukuleles. Actually, in general, I get really icked out by how people talk about ukuleles because it's a valid instrument. Actually, it's quite an important instrument to many people. There are places where ukuleles, dare I say, is like a cultural instrument, and yet it commonly gets co-opted by people trying to say, oh, ukuleles are cringe, it's a bad instrument, it's sweet, this, that, the other. And a lot of that is just hating on people for trying to have fun with music. But then you get something like Colleen Ballinger happening, and it's like, oh my god, you almost made me believe that ukuleles were cringe for a second. I'm so mad at you. That was honestly, besides the grooming and other things she was accused of, that needed to be talked about more. How dare you do this with a ukulele? Someone said, Heathcliff, it's me. I'm Kathy. I've come home. Oh man, that Kate Bush song. I could wax poetic about that song or any one of Kate Bush's songs ad nauseum till the cows come home. Someone said, do you play any instruments? I own instruments. I play the computer pretty well when I make my music. I'm actually pretty good at the MIDI files, but no, I've tried to play instruments and I'm still trying to learn, but it's not bad. I'll tell you some instruments I've given up on. I gave up on guitar. It hurt. I was so tired of the pain. Do you understand? I know that I was holding the guitar wrong, and that's part of the reason that it hurt for sure. I was just so tired of the strings just pressing into my fingers, shredding. I was trying to shred on the guitar. I'm getting my fingers shredded. I had to give up. I gave up. I was like, children learn how to do this, but I'm not even as powerful as them. So I abandoned that. And then I also gave up on learning how to play piano because, okay, I'm sorry. There is like too much possibility. There are too many keys. Like, at least with guitar, okay, there's only 6 strings or whatever. Depending on the guitar that you're using, there's probably 6 strings. And yes, you do have multiple frets. However, pianos just have so many keys. And so many of them sound so garbage when played together. You play a wrong key on a piano and it's like, oh, what was that? So I got so pissed off when I was just like, how can I learn every single chord on an instrument that has so much? I get overwhelmed really easily. So yeah, I quit. At one point, I could play harmonica really well. And I mean like really, really well. I could play it by ear. I could be like, oh, you want me to play, I don't know, Sabrina Carpenter on the harmonica? I could literally just start doing that without sheet music. So I got decent at that, but I don't really remember how to play. That's about it. Obviously, I learned recorder as a child, but I don't really use that. Someone said, have you tried a percussion instrument? I feel like you could definitely do something like that too. I probably could, actually. Well, I think the most important thing about playing drums is that you have to look cool. Well, I actually think that's much more important. Like, obviously, the music aspect of it, drummers would agree, is a bit more important to them probably, but you do have to be cool because you can't say anything. You're not like singing. Singing is a very cool looking activity. Playing the guitar is a very cool looking activity, but like drummers, you're just sitting there. You can't really move around much, so you have to look like the coolest band member. And I think I have that part down, which is why I would probably be good at drums. I'd just be back there in my depressing black clothes, like drumming it up. I'd give anything to learn the accordion. You should do it. You'd look tough on the drum kit. Thank you. Exactly. Put me in your band. Put me on. Put me on. I'd argue you fit the vibe. Yeah, I definitely give drummer vibes. But you know what I want to do though? Actually, okay. I want to learn an instrument just to vindicate myself, just to prove that I can do it. Just one. Just one. I want to learn one to decent, like I can accompany myself with some chords, and that's about it. So by the time I die, when I'm 70, no, I'm not dying in my 70s. When I'm 135, I will be able to play one instrument. So check back in at that point. Someone said drumming is so much cardio. Yeah. All right. We've got about 3 more minutes. We're going to start. What sport are you into? Running. I'm into running. I love running outside. Oh, miles at a time. Yes. It's so fun. I'm not fast. I don't compete against other people, but I can't wait until it stops being winter storm energy here in North Carolina so I can go back to my trail runs. It's just so refreshing. It makes me excited. Someone said I'd say violin is next. Ooh, I love just the different ways that you can play violin. One instrument has so many like timbres or whatever. I'm sure there's a better term for that, but I love hearing a good violin performance. Someone said running is amazing. It is. It's so good. I love running. Yes. Reading chat. Oh, you like running too? Nice. Y'all are probably faster than me. I'm definitely just more of like a distance / personal enjoyment runner. But oh, best believe I'm finna be right back out there on my trail runs. Reading chat. How do you get into running? I want to be a runner, but I just can't. I had the same thing where like I would try to run for a mile straight and I couldn't. I would have to stop and keep walking, or like I would try to do a mile and then it would take a number of minutes that wasn't much different from me walking. So I would say what happened for me, or what made it possible for me, was I basically just had to go increase my distance little by little. I had to be like, okay, even though I went for a run and for 90% of that I was actually walking and dying, I still went for a run. And then you go out, like, you are going to improve. And then also another thing Slow down. Slow down. Please. I've given this advice on stream before. I'll give it to anybody who wants to be or who wants to get into running. Slow down. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh, this feels like jogging. I don't even feel like I'm running. It's a fine pace. Your pace is okay. You don't need to run quickly. I would say there's almost no benefit to trying to run quickly in the beginning. You should instead run in a way that you actually feel like you want to keep going. I don't want to get into the specifics because I don't have any sort of qualifications, but essentially there are different zones of activity and you don't always want to be in your max capacity because if you do that, you're going to burn yourself out. It's not going to feel nice. So yeah, learn how to do a bunch of miles that suck really bad because that's going to be the foundation of your good miles. if I have to be like, oh God, we have to run like a decent mile, I'm drawing on the foundation I've built off of running a bunch of awful slow miles by myself that nobody judged me for. Someone said good running shoes are a must. Yes, they are. Please get good running shoes. Someone says it's cold in North Carolina right now, high key freezing in Florida. Yeah, it's been below freezing off and on where I am in North Carolina. All right. Someone said main topic time. Is it though? I've been live for 30 minutes. I'm like, we could yap more. No, I'm just kidding. I'm excited. Usually I be stalling. I stall a lot when it comes to my topics because some of this stuff, as much as I want to talk about it, it also gives me the ick. And I'm like, isn't it much more lovely to have fun? But no, I want to talk about this darn movie. So let me turn my computer on. Some of you are like, how is he streaming if his computer isn't on? We advanced. We on that other level. Ew. Y'all, I opened my computer and I guess I haven't turned it off since my last stream, I guess. And the first thing I saw was Neil Gaiman's messages. I think that was like the last thing I went over on my stream. I guess my outline was still open in a window. And I just pop. No, that's awful. Okay. Thankfully, this is going to be a much less excruciating watch than whatever was going on in that last stream. But I still think that was a good video. I was happy with the way that came out. All right. Someone said, do you vape? No, I don't vape. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Not for any particular moral reason. Just never something I got into. I definitely don't judge people who do, though. Well, okay, hold on. I don't judge people who vape in general because you're free to do that. I very much judge people who are rude about it. I'm sorry. Some of y'all are really rude about it. I've had vapor, whatever, essentially like blown in my face. I don't really think personally in an enclosed space, I should know what flavor of vape you're vaping. That's how I feel about that. But as far as just doing it yourself or whatever, it's not that important. All right. I'm gonna pull up that outline. Or I would pull up the outline if it wanted to pull up. Someone says, speak your truth. Yeah, no to rude vapors. That's just not it. But then I would apply that to anybody. Don't be rude while doing anything. And then I won't. It don't matter. I do think for sure, and I've talked about this before, but like some people who don't smoke or drink or vape or whatever, they're way too annoying about it. Like, I'm not even talking about people who are like, oh, I used to drink and I worked really hard, to change my habits for myself or whatever. And so now I'll talk about this and help other people. I'm talking about nerds like me who just never really picked it up for various reasons. And now we're just kind of like, yes, I don't do those things. My friends are all doing those things, but I am above. And I'm just like, no. So that's why I don't really label myself anything when it comes to this, because I'm like, it's not like an identity for me personally. It's not. It's just something I don't do. Okay, I finally pulled up all of my sources. Let me go ahead and start recording. Someone said I have asthma. I think vaping or smoking would kill me. Me too. Hold on, wait. Chad, if you're ever that's why I never did it. Besides just me not wanting to, I don't think I can smoke. I used to when I was a child, my asthma was much worse, and I felt like it would get triggered to hell by people doing any sort of stuff like that. And so I've always been like, man, I don't want to die or feel like I'm dying. That's the worst part about asthma, is it makes you feel like you're dying. It actually is like, oh, my body's shutting down. So because of that, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I defeated my childhood asthma by becoming a smoker at 18. No, I mean, task failed successfully, I guess. I suppose. All right, that's enough about smoking and drinking. What is this? The sinner chat? Is this a sinners chat? Is this a chat full of sinners where we engage in debauchery? This is a Christian Minecraft server. We do things here that honor the Lord. Okay? We are going to talk about this new sexed up Wuthering Heights adaptation in a God-honoring way. Don't get it. I don't want people clicking into this and being like, what in the gender confusion is happening here? This is a very Christian space. All right, let's see. Start recording. Say hi to YouTube. Say hi to YouTube. We're recording. People are already tired of the Wuthering Heights movie, and it's not even out yet. On some level, I almost want to say that that's impressive. I would say we're dealing with a negative PR. Or is there such a thing as inverted PR? Because that's what's going on here. I think the more comment sections I click into about, the more and more articles that come out about this movie and the problems people have with this movie, some of them valid, some of them I'm just noticing a general exhaustion underpinning this conversation, and I would like to try to get into the heart of it. So, hi, I'm D'Angelo, and this video is about whitewashing, fake romances, and essentially how not to promote your movie. Okay. All right. Someone said they haven't heard of it. Man, do I... Hold on. Someone here hasn't heard of the Wuthering Heights 2026 film, and that's probably a few of you watching as well. So what am I even talking about? Let's go to that PC. Let's get into it for real. I suppose if I was to just blanket Google Wuthering Heights 2026. All right. There is a book. It's an old book. And it's been a series of old movies. And now they're making a new movie. That is essentially Wuthering Heights 2026. The problem is, many people feel, rightfully so, that this new movie is just a complete misunderstanding of the source material. And I would tend to agree with this. So the first thing I would like to get into is the claims of whitewashing. Okay. This is so cringe. So I'm going to do something that I feel like we don't do enough on the internet. I'm going to do something that I think more of us should do. We're about to read a book. Not a full book. We're about to read part of a book. And I want to show you that these whitewashing claims are valid. And I agree with them. This is the Project Gutenberg. Oh no. Hold on, wait. The thingy is back. Okay, wait. I'm trying to fix my green screen. Okay, I fixed it. Kind of. Okay, there we go. I caught it this time. There was like a weird dash on my thingy. It happens sometimes. The ghosts, they just show up and start rearranging my it's not good. Anyways, I'm finna show you what Wuthering Heights actually says. Oh, I guess the last thing I control F'd was Kelly Osbourne. What? Anyways, let's see. So, oh, wait. Important note, chat. This book is old as hell, okay? Wuthering Heights release date book. 1847 old. All right. So you're going to see some language in here that would obviously not be used today, right? But one of the main characters in the book, Heathcliff, is described as dark skinned, right? Here they use a word for him that we don't use anymore, but essentially implying he looks like he could be Romani, etc. He is not visibly white. He is visibly other, and it's a pretty core part of the book. You also see things in here like saying, do 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 do. He looks like a little Lascar or an American or Spanish castaway. What they're getting at here, I was like, I didn't even know what the Lascar was, but it's referring to Southeast Asian or Arab soldiers. Old words that we're getting here, right? At one point, one of the characters even suggests China. One of the characters even suggests, who knows, your father could have been emperor of China and your mother an Indian queen. The author never really went into specifics, but he's not white. It's not really up for debate. It's actually part of what makes this whole whitewashing fiasco so frustrating. He is one of the few characters in the literary canon, the English literary canon of classics that they force us to read, that is actually explicitly described as dark-skinned in any way. And that is why some people were a little confused when the casting was announced and we got Jacob Elordi, I guess. I don't know why. I mean, you know, I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to demand too much, you know, from fiction, but I'm dark-skinned, possibly getting confused for any and other race. Oh, he might be Southeast Asian. Oh, he might have African ancestors. No, you were like, actually, we're just going to cast Jacob Elordi. So right off the bat, I was deeply concerned. To say the least, I've been concerned. Now, when many people bring up the fact that, like, okay, sure, actors are just actors, but this is weird. The cast and the crew have been stepping over themselves, trying to explain, like, it's just a movie, guys. It's just a movie. And yes, it is just a movie, but just wait. All right, let me pull the director's statement. Her statement made me... I was laughing, I won't lie. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, snap. I had her statement. Hold on. Do. Fennel. Someone said, do you have cancer? Are you sick? Are you asking me genuinely? No, I'm just skinny and bald. Okay, let's see. I'm wearing this because I am cold. Hold on a second, chat. Sorry, this always happens where some of my sources are just not sourcing, but it's okay. We're doing well so far. I feel like I've stayed on topic. All right, cool. We'll pull this from TikTok. So this is the director of the film, Emerald Fennell, responding to questions about this casting.
I mean, it's had some comments.
Oh, wait, hold on. Y'all can hear this, but I can't hear it. Advanced audio properties. Monitor off. Hold on. Advanced audio properties. Monitor and output. Someone said Emerald Fennell has made an enemy out of me one too many times. No, same. I'm finna get into this at the very end of this topic, but I have beef with her for various reasons. Various reasons. All right. But this is what Miss Fennell had to say about this, okay? Start over.
The Heathcliff casting, I mean, has had some comments around if that should be a person of color and, you know, casting Jacob in it. What do you kind of think about that commentary?
I think the thing is everyone who loves this book has such a personal connection to it. And so you can only ever kind of make the movie that you sort of imagined yourself when you read it, and then you can, I don't know, I think I was sort of focusing on kind of sadomasochistic elements of it, and so
So the movie that you imagined yourself as you read it was with a girl. It said he was dark skinned. What were you imagining? This is such a baffling answer. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, people are asking. You're saying you can't hear it? Okay, wait, hold on. I've run into this issue a few times. I'm gonna try to see if I can, like, sometimes chat things are turned up all the way and I can't turn them up anymore. But that is where things like volume booster extensions come into play. Okay, so do you think, hold on, 4.8 volume master. Okay, yeah, I know some of y'all heard it, but I want it to be just a little clearer. I'm scared though, because like when you start like messing around with volume and stuff, if I press the wrong button and all of y'all are like, oh, D'Angelo, this, like, my eardrums popped because of this, then where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to, I'm going to give it like 110%. 110%. And I'm not going to talk over it. So if you got to turn it up for a second, go ahead and do it. I'm gonna do 120, but beyond that, I'm unwilling to boost this further. So just listen up here.
But that's
The Heathcliff casting, I mean, has had some comments around if that should be a person of color and, casting Jacob in it. What do you kind of think about that commentary?
I think the thing is everyone who loves this book has such a personal connection to it. And so you can only ever kind of make the movie that you sort of imagined yourself when you read it, and then you can, I don't know, I think I was sort of focusing on kind of sadomasochistic elements of it. And so
I'm also slightly confused about what sadomasochistic elements she's referring to. Because I'm thinking back about the book, which I reread it recently, within the last year, and I promise you I have no idea what she's talking about. I have no idea what she's talking about. I'm telling us she made that up. There is no sadomasochistic element to what there's abuse. Is that what you mean? Emerald? Do you mean the abuse, physical and emotional? Other than that, I'm not really sure what she's referring to. Someone says she's just saying things. No, this is like word salad, final boss. Someone said I was too busy being freaky to think about racism. Yeah, no, that's straight up not what the book is about. Someone says she's 14 in the book. Yeah, can we please talk about that actually? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. How old was, oh, I'm finna spoil this, sorry, Catherine when she died in Wuthering Heights? Actually, I never even thought about it from that perspective. Y'all, she died at 18 in the book as a child. So let me move on. Let me move on because I don't want to get stuck on this point. Oh, my bad. Okay.
but that's the great thing about this movie is that it could be made every year and it would still be so moving and so interesting. There are so many different takes. So, I just welcome I think every year we should have a new one.
That was a horrible answer. That was a bad answer, Emerald. Emerald, hey, some people are saying this feels kind of strange optically to cast this white man to play one of the only people of color who was a main character in the literary canon. And Emerald's like, but that book was so hot. Oh my god, it was so sexy. I had to cast Jacob Elordi. I'm going to cry. Anyway, she's not the only one who has responded to this. You also get Margot Robbie trying to defend this bizarre casting. Hold on. Her statement was at least a little bit less of a self-report, in my opinion. Oh God, hold on. All right. Margot just says he is Heath. Okay, yeah. She's like, it says much of the controversy has stemmed from the casting of Elordi as a character described by the author as dark-skinned and a Lascar, a colonial tone for South Asian sailor or soldier. Robbie says, I saw him play Heathcliff, and he is Heathcliff. I'd say, just wait. Trust me, you'll be happy. She added, it's a character that has this lineage of other great... Oh, sorry, it's like acting crazy as I try to scroll. It's a character that has this lineage of other great actors who have played him, from Laurence Olivier to Richard Burton, etc. Tom Hardy, to be a part of that is special. He's incredible, and I believe in him so much. I honestly think he's our generation's Daniel Day-Lewis. I guess. We also get the casting director's statement on this, which really pissed people off. People hated this so bad, and I'm like, why would you ever admit this? The casting director talks casting Lily-Rose Nosferatu and teases Wuthering Heights. Some English fans are not going to be happy, right? And about this, she says, there was one Instagram comment that said the casting director should be shot. Okay, obviously don't agree with this because no, but just wait till you see it and then you can decide whether you want to shoot me or not. But you really don't need to be accurate. It's just a book. That is not based on real life. It's all art. I don't even know if I have enough water to get through this topic. That is such, in my opinion, a strange mindset to have as any sort of creative. That is a really weird mindset to have, to be like, artwork is just art. You don't have to examine it on any sort of like thematic level. You don't have to ask questions about why this character might have been described the way he was. It's just a book. Yeah, no, people were pissed off, and I wasn't mad so much as just deeply confused as to why anybody thought this would fly in the year of our Lord 2026. Reading chat. Someone said not surprised. Yeah, I fell squarely in camp disappointed but not surprised by this at all. So that was kind of the main thing. You know who I didn't see? You know what's really funny though? You know who I didn't see respond to this too much? Or if he did, I really struggled to find it. I looked. I was like, Elordi on whitewashing claims, Wuthering Heights. And I didn't really see anything. It's like Jacob Elordi is defended by director. Jacob Elordi, doing this, that, the other. You're gonna notice this a lot as we get further and further into this movie. I'm gonna keep being like, oh, Margot Robbie did this, or Emerald Fennell did, and you get all these people. By largely keeping his trap shut, Jacob Elordi is dodging so much criticism that I believe he should be getting for this as well. Because bro, you accepted the role. He really was like, I'm gonna accept the role and then just not say nothing. And let y'all get mad at Emerald, and let y'all get mad at the casting director, and mad at Margot Robbie, and it is kind of working for him, which just, buddy. Y'all not finna get away with that. Okay. So essentially, read the whitewashing. That's all I have to say. Does anybody have any more thoughts on this before I move on to the next thing that people feel bothered by? Someone said he should be getting criticism. Exactly. Yeah. He's not a baby. Like, you shouldn't be accepting this role. If say I was an actor, somebody comes to me and they're like, okay, D'Angelo, you are going to play. I'm trying to think of a suitable example, and I just thought of one, but it's so stupid. Someone comes to me and they're like, D'Angelo, you're going to play Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm gonna be like, I see the vision, but of all times to go off script, don't you think that there are certain aspects of RBG that might have been a little more important to her identity? And that maybe somebody else should be playing this character. Someone said Thor. No, if someone came to me and said, D'Angelo, we want you to play Thor, I would accept it in a heartbeat. Just kidding. People would get mad if I said that. People would get mad. I shouldn't say that. But no, like, there are certain times when I think you can just be like, oh no, it's just a book. It's just an adaptation. But then there's other times where I'm like, it does matter. It matters that people have, you know, identities, etc. No. Reading chat. Someone said I would watch that. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not gonna enter that conversation. But anyways, moving on. Chat, can we talk about the fake romance? Please? Wait, someone said Odessa Azion got more stuff and actually dropped the role when she was miscast in, but Elordi isn't getting touched at all. It's very telling. Yeah, no, there's a double standard. Can we talk about the fake romance? I'm moving on to point B, which is that the way Elordi and Margot Robbie have been acting in these interviews, acting with each other, the oversharing, the TMI of it all, it's getting a little weird. I would like to start off with the shrines. Does that sound like a good place to start? Hold on. And by shrines, I mean actual shrines.
The dressing room. Emerald went into our dressing rooms and made a
Wait, hold on, wait. That actually is quiet. I can agree that is like, why is it so quiet? Maybe I just am loud. Hold on. That is quiet. I'm going to do like 140. No, that's loud. I'm going to do like No, I'm going to do 140 anyway. If we die, we die.
Seriously.
At the studio, we both had a dressing room. Emerald went into our dressing rooms and made a shrine of each other.
Fantastic.
In our dressing rooms.
So
it was
cool.
so unhinged and so hilarious. She put like locks of hair and like pictures of us, candles, and like made a full shrine of, you know, mine was a Jacob shrine, he had a Margot shrine. It was so funny. So honestly,
I had a Jacob shrine and he had a Margot shrine is a strong start to this. When I tell you, it actually just gets a little stranger. You're like, no, D'Angelo, you just started off with they had locks of each other's hair. How is this going to get any weirder? No, it does. So we've got, I would say this photo shoot is what really seals the deal. For some reason, Robbo? I've just given them... Who is Robbo? That's Margot and Robbie mixed together. For some reason, Robbie and Elordi are going on this big, like, hot, sexy tour talking about how much chemistry we had. Like, oh my gosh, we were codependent on each other. We were really starting to feel the feelings and feel the emotions. You're getting, like, these bizarre photo shoots for Vogue. What? Now, here's the thing. This is going to be really hard for me to like make sense. I don't want to sound stupid. I know that this isn't real. I'm not saying, oh, they were cheating on each other, this, that, the other. I'm confused as to why we need to promote the movie this way and kind of force this sort of image for it. It doesn't really make much sense to me personally. I think from this we also got their matching rings that they were wearing. Really fantastic stuff. Hold on, I'll try to make this bigger. Which I just have to say, the rings were cringe. They took the quote, one of the best quotes, by the way, one of the best quotes from the book. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. I'm sorry, it looks like y'all bought those from Hot Topic. And I might have actually seen those the last time I was at Hot Topic looking for weird clothes to wear to piss off all of the elders in my family. I might have seen these rings. We've also got just strange things like Wait, oh, I pressed the wrong button. Someone says she is married. No, like, she is married. I'm trying not to be weird about this. I usually don't like when people are like, super fixated on relationship stuff, because typically I just label most of that as it's not my business. But brother, she has actually been married to one dude for like 10 years. I just think that this level of press tour is kind of weird. Margot Robbie says she became codependent with Jacob Elordi. The actress recalled feeling, quote, like a kid without their blanket when co-star Jacob Elordi wasn't nearby on set. You've got him filling her hotel room with roses. I'm being so serious. This isn't like, usually I think these are things that I ignore because these are just rumors. These are things that they're sharing with us. Margot Robbie thought Jacob Elordi is, quote, probably a good boyfriend after this Valentine's Day surprise. And yeah, he was like, hold on, let me find it. We were shooting on Valentine's Day. You made my day. And as Heathcliff filled my room with roses, he left her a note, a little tombstone thing symbolic of the film we were creating together. Elordi noted that Robbie didn't do anything special for him for the holiday. Maybe because she's married to someone who is not you. But his feelings weren't hurt. I felt like I beat you. People magazine with the pop-up ad. I felt like I beat you, Elordi said, proud of his efforts. She says, you definitely beat me. Yours was so epic. I remember thinking on Valentine's Day, oh, he's probably a very good boyfriend, because there's a lot of thoughtfulness in this. You did a lot of very thoughtful things. I hate when things are hard to talk about. I hate when things are hard to talk about. On some level, all of this is literally just rage bait, because it's working really, really, really well. There's so much discourse about, are they cheating? This, that, the other. And I just kind of feel like if your movie needs all of this going on behind the scenes to sell it, you have me worried for the quality of this film. That's where I land. I'm not really offended or trying to make a big deal that he gave her roses, or they're wearing matching rings, or doing hot interview or photo shoots together, which is just all very strange. I'm just like, do we not feel like we're going a little hard with the PR relationship? People magazine specifically. Does this not feel a little bit excessive? Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi's Wuthering Heights first reactions said the sexual tension's a whole other level of hot. Jacob Elordi says he and Margot Robbie were, quote, catching little pieces of the love story for real on set. Dude, I'm gonna leave it there because it's not really the most important thing to me, but I still think it's an important asterisk. Do we have any? Someone said this makes me not want to watch it. I saw a lot of people more likely to be like, maybe I should just skip this film because this is getting weird. Any thoughts on this before I move on to the next point? Let me know for real, because I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back to their matching rings, Hot Topic rings, and hotel rooms full of roses. Someone said, and her husband said, I mean, look, I doubt in real life anybody is worried by this, but it comes across as a lot weirder than I feel like it. Someone said it's corny. It's corny. I agree. That's the main thing that I'm like bothered by. I'm not like, oh, I'm just like, bro, just let the movie come out. Please. Reading. Lazy. Yeah, I would say. Someone said I hate press tours like this. Actually, yeah, can we please talk about how this is not the first time that this has happened, which is why I think you're getting this fatigue. I don't want to sit here and name names, but let's just say this is the last and the latest in a long line of very forced PR relationships of varying levels of romance, non-romance, cheating allegations, and I don't think it works as well as it did the first time. That's all I really got to say. That's all I really got to say. So it's annoying. It's annoying. All right. Anyways, moving on to my next point, which would be the period accuracy. Okay, so this is the part where someone said the pretend we're actually in love to sell tickets press store. Yeah, I'm over it. This is the part where actually I have an unpopular opinion. I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like the visual direction of this movie. So people have also been like, bro, this doesn't look anything like Wuthering Heights. What are y'all doing? Etc. Etc. But I sort of feel like I understand the vision, even though I kind of hate it as well. So you get, for example, this really bizarre someone said Margot Robbie Taj Mahal necklace controversy. I'll talk about that. Actually, I have her press tour looks here in a second. So they've gone with this really like whimsical, surreal look that is clearly not based off of the 1700s, when I believe most of the book is set. It's not even trying to look like it. Obviously, nobody was wearing, shiny red dresses. It's kind of more akin to like some bizarre Alice in Wonderland-esque or creepy dream state direction that they've gone with the entire movie. And I hate to say it, I like it. I think in general, like absurdism or weird whimsical things, I want to see that so much more than the same boring gray sad sets that we get for everything, or just everyone standing in a CGI a green room and then we're just gonna CGI the entire movie into existence. I actually think it's really cool that they went with this sort of bizarre direction. That being said, someone said it reminds me of Poor Things. Oh man, Poor Things would be another example of a movie where it's doing things that technically are really cool. And I would almost say, oh yeah, Poor Things, I like that one. But then I forget that it is such a bastardization of its source material, and that Poor Things absolutely like tramples upon the core idea of the movie or the book that it's based on, turns it into something that's actually pretty gross if you compare it to its source material. Poor Things makes me really, really, really mad. It makes me really, really, really mad because you're taking something that is really cool and you're putting a lot of work into it, but you're selling it from like the grossest angle possible. Stuff like that. Someone said, what's wrong with Poor Things? Basically, the film only adapts part of the book. And so the film's core thesis, in my opinion, doesn't really seem to reflect the book's actual point. But that's just my opinion. Someone says, so like Wuthering Heights? No, I feel like it's a good comparison. It's kind of the same thing where I can't sit here and be like, Poor Things is a horrible movie. The performances are bad. I loved the music. I loved the costuming. I loved the overall aesthetic of it. But when push comes to shove, I'm like, wow, y'all really took something that was making a point and you're like, actually, let's make it gross, weird, and then just leave it there without engaging with any of these core themes. In my opinion, that's my opinion. You're totally free to like Poor Things, and it again still did have a lot of cool film stuff, but bro, that was a struggle for me. Someone said, what is your opinion on Frankenstein? Do you mean the new Frankenstein with, hold on, we're officially on a tangent. And actually, I'm pretty sure I just talked for 30 minutes without getting distracted. So let's be tangential. Are you talking about this new Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein? Because that one I did watch and I do have opinions on it. Yes, I do. Yeah, this one right here. So speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. Someone said that I like Poor Things, but I definitely know it has problems. That would be me. Yes. Speak of the devil. We have Jacob Elordi in this movie too. Oh, what? Why is this so blurry? Well, whatever. I actually like this movie, but here's the thing. I liked this movie for what it was. I thought it was really fun and interesting. And I thought Jacob Elordi did a really great job. However, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I was sad that they didn't go as hard as the book does. That's the problem with Frankenstein, is that I feel like a lot of people read the source material and then they get really emotionally attached to some of the characters. And so then when you get these movie representations of these characters, they try to make them seem a little bit nicer than they were. I don't want to go into too much detail. No, yes, I do. Essentially, Frankenstein's monster, he is a monster. He is a monster, y'all. Not because of the way that he looks. Not because that's not why. It's just he does some things in this book that are unconscionable. A word that I can say now, because once I tried to say it on stream and I said unconscionable and I had to Google it. But now I know this word. Unconscionable things take place in Frankenstein that are not excusable, no matter how much horrible things that this character, the monster, has been put through. And I want somebody to finally make a movie where he is as nuanced as he is in the book. That's all I'm asking for. Don't turn him into some sort of lumbering cliche, but also please don't try to like ignore some of the worst things that he does just so that the audience feels more emotionally attached to him. That's my opinion on the new Frankenstein movie. That being said, that's a personal choice, and the movie itself is still good. That's me. All right. Anyways, that was enough of that diversion. Kind of getting back into the direction. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Kind of getting back into the direction. You also sort of have the logo, which I would say is a good example of like, they're not actually trying to adapt the book in any sort of accuracy. And that excuses, in my opinion, many of the surface level aspects of the book. It's okay to go with like a wacky, over the top look. They put the quotes in the logo, etc. It's just, Emerald, I don't think putting the logo in quotes actually makes it okay to do whitewashing. That's my hot take. It's not even a complex opinion. I think you can say it's just a book and create any sort of wacky aesthetic that you want, but ignoring the themes in that book doesn't make any sense. Also, does anybody remember this movie? Does anybody remember Baz Luhrmann's William Shakespeare's Romeo plus Juliet? Has anyone watched this film? Because I think this is a much better example, in my opinion. I think this is a much better example of what they're trying to do, but it was actually done well. Hold on, I need more water. This movie is polarizing, and many people don't like it because it's like, why did we add a bunch of guns and Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes to William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet? But when I tell you that low key, it does still capture the original energy, I don't know how to explain it. It still feels exactly like the source material. And I don't think that all adaptations need to feel like the source material. I bring this up to say I am completely okay with any sort of aesthetic changes that take place for films. That's just me. It's just me. I really love this movie. It's not even a guilty pleasure. It's just a pleasure. Okay. Someone said, I love that version. Yes, I'm so glad. If you are an apologist for this movie, join me in our unabashed appreciation. I bring this up to say most people aren't only just mad about the way the movie looks. I don't want to see I see a lot of the criticism get swept away as the casting director is trying to do of it's just a book, or Emerald's trying to do of oh, well, it's just the book that I imagined when I read it. You're free to do that. I'm not a stickler for accuracy. I just think that this movie is bad for other reasons that you all seem quite unwilling to engage with. That being said, I do kind of want to look at some of these. Can we take a break and look at some of these outfits in Wuthering Heights? Because I don't like all of them, but I do love some of them. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, so Someone said Harold Perrineau was amazing as Mercutio. Yes, incredible, incredible. Someone said second love I'm catching. Oh, you're just in time. We're gonna look at some wacky clothes from the Wuthering Heights movie. Let's just do a mini clothing review. Okay, so right off the bat, what's the first one that we get? This number right here. You know what? I don't hate it. I'm sorry. This is toxic of me. I feel like I should be like, no, why are we doing? I kind of like this look. It's cool. And red is clearly like a theme color in the movie. It's giving, as I said, Alice in Wonderland. You kind of get in this article some of their inspirations and stuff like that. This is this is an example of a look where I'm like, no, what is this supposed to be? This looks like they're not all good. I don't like all of the costumes in the movie. This, you've got this sort of bridal-ish look. You've got this one right here. Okay, people were really split on this candy wrapper dress. Wait, I don't know how to make it somewhat bigger. Sorry, if you hear the sirens going off in the background, please ignore them. I kind of like it. Look, I know it's stupid. It's like, why is she wearing wrapping paper? But y'all don't understand. Y'all fail to understand. I'm so easily entertained by things like this. I want people to do wacky, just balls to the wall fashion looks. Of course, you've got the infamous latex looking dress. This one, for example, like, bro, hear me out. It's a really cool dress. I think again, like, here, let me try to quantify, because I can feel that I'm losing some of y'all. I feel that I'm losing some of y'all. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other Wuthering Heights looks that we've gotten, and why I'm like, I think it's a better idea to just completely not even try. So in the 30s, for example, we get this. This is not it. This is an attempt to be period accurate, but we have gotten so many inaccurate Wuthering Heights adaptations in terms of the actual fashion of it that I'm like, you know what? Just giving up and doing something weird instead, it kind of irks me a little bit less than seeing constant stuff like this. Hold on, wait. Some of these are so funny. You've got this one from 1967. How do I know? I shouldn't be able to identify this as being from the 60s. This is the most 1960s coded design or costuming design ever. Hold on, wait. I gotta show you. My favorite would definitely be the 90s one, because I was like, you've got to be kidding right now. It looks like the 90s. It looks like the 90s. How do I... There's something about this image that I can't explain. I can't explain it in my soul. But I look at her right here, and I'm like, this definitely came out in the 90s. 100%. I don't know what it is. I know. I'm not fashion forward enough to explain how I know that this has been the case. But yeah, no. All this to say, I'm pulling this mostly from this website called Sorry. Sometimes my stuff just acts up. There's this website called Frock Flicks, and they went through and they did a comparison of all of these Wuthering Heights looks. And I'm like, okay, no, so few people have ever gotten this right. Why not just go wacky with it? Hold on, wait. This one's hilarious. This one's so funny. Oh, it's so big. Now, 1700s. This is a woman from the 1700s. No, it ain't. Anyways, that's the last thing I'm gonna say. About the Wuthering Heights art direction. However, someone said blogs are alive. Bro, I love me a good blog. I really do. I do kind of want to talk about another mini controversy that should be addressed and is another example of things that we just need to let go of. Let's see. Margot Robbie has been doing press tour looks as well. not just the design for the movie, but there's also been a lot of work put into, oh my god, sorry, the sirens are still sirening. There's been a lot of work put into the looks that she's worn to premieres and things like that. So you get looks like this, which I think is an interesting dress, etc. You get looks like this, which it's kind of giving like The Sims when you're a kid and you're like, yes, I can put my character in a trench coat and a mini skirt and like thigh-high stockings, so I'm gonna do it. I can't do it, so I will do it. Definitely varying levels of, dare I say, effectiveness for this press tour look. It's hilarious. But what people were actually like, wait, this is kind of weird, is she keeps wearing these jewels that kind of getting into the general theme of tone deafness. Hold on, let me pull it up. I saw someone mention this in chat, and I actually didn't have it in my outline, but I still think it's worth pointing out. Okay. In general, I feel like we need to kind of let go of this idea of like precious jewels and stuff. Hold on. It's this Taj Mahal diamond gifted to Elizabeth Taylor, apparently by, you know, her husband 5 decades ago, etc. And I do remember seeing criticism of like, oh wait, this jewelry was originally gifted to this person by the Mughal emperor, but now is in the hands of Elizabeth Taylor. There's an undercurrent here that I'm not prepared to go into of like taking things from other cultures and other countries, or like jewels in general just being so dependent on either being stolen or produced via methods that are deeply unethical, etc. And then it's like, yes, Margot Robbie wears stunning necklace, but it's like, where did you get that necklace from, Margot? Why is this so again, I'm sorry that I can't go into more detail about this because it wasn't really part of my general point about the movie, since this is more so about her looks outside of the movie. But brother, this is no. It's a no for me, dog. Someone said Gilded Age core, give it all back already. Yeah, no, in general, like museums that have a bunch of cultural artifacts from other people. What else? Diamonds that were actually, hold on. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. We should just move past diamonds as a concept. We don't need real diamonds anymore. This is a someone says incredibly tone deaf. Yeah, no, it is. And listen, chat. If I'm wrong about this, feel free to check me. I'm pretty sure that's what this jewel was. I remember reading it and people saying it, but again, like, it's still an interesting conversation in general, regardless of where Margot Robbie got this necklace from. I feel like diamonds in general, we just need to stop with them. Stop with the diamonds. Let's look at diamonds, okay? Oh, these are diamonds. Wow, they're great. Let's go ahead and look at some fake diamonds, okay? Oh my God, what the helly? They're identical. Wow, that's wild. You can't, listen, there is no godly reason for you to actually be contributing to purchasing diamonds, trying to get diamonds that have been give up, buy some fake stuff. You're still gonna look shiny. If it's that important to you to look shiny, that's my opinion. There's so many things that are like, it's difficult to opt out of completely. You're still going to wind up unethically consuming things, etc. Opt out of diamonds right now. That's my opinion. Someone said lab grown. No, for real. Like, okay, here's the thing. Lab grown diamonds, they're still diamonds, aren't they? Someone check me if I'm wrong about this. Aren't lab grown diamonds still diamonds? Like actual diamonds. And if I'm wrong about this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for talking about things I don't understand. I'm not a jewelry kind of person. I wear really cheap metal jewelry. But yeah, no, like we don't need to keep doing this. Someone said there's no difference really. Yeah, exactly. They're the same. Yeah, no. Buy fake diamonds, lab grown diamonds. Please stop with this whole thing. But yes, thank you whoever brought up Margot Robbie's Taj Mahal necklace, which kind of just gets into the whole point of this being tone deaf in general, of taking a story that has all these themes about, you know, no, sorry, it's a no from me, dog. But yeah, don't come for me. You're gonna watch this live. I'm not putting this part in my video. You watch this live stream and you come back and you're like, oh, D'Angelo, that was unresearched. I didn't look into it. That's just what I was seeing. All right. Kind of moving on from that. What else do I have in here? Oh. Okay. Yeah. I think this YouTube comment that was left on the original trailer kind of sums it up the best. I don't want to play the trailer or too much of the trailer for you because I'm going to get in trouble because it has a bunch of Charlie XCX music in it. But I did read some of the comments after watching the trailer, and this person said, I will watch pretending it's an original film because if I know because I know if I watch it as an adaptation, I'll hate it. It looks cool and interesting. And I'm like 75% in agreement with this. I'm like, I agree sort of that it's just fine as a standalone movie mostly. But at the same time, there's just such an ick factor underpinning this that if you're more like, actually, I'm not going to watch it because I hate all of this, I understand why. I don't think that people are being extra in their dislike of this. I find it quite valid. Anyways, one thing I want to talk about is so many people, you might have noticed this in the beginning, keep saying, you have to watch the movie. You have to watch the movie. Well, the casting director, I think, said that, right? Margot said that. Just watch the movie. You don't have to watch the movie to know that something is amiss here. But from what we've seen of this movie... Hold on. This is going to be quiet. It might be quiet, so you might have to turn it up. I'm just going to play you a little bit of this movie. I'm going to play you a little bit of this movie. Press and play right now.
You must be very rich indeed. I suppose you shall fall in love with me. I suppose you shall fall in love with...
Sorry, it is so quiet. Actually, in general, why are movies mixed so poorly nowadays? This is quieter than any other. I know that some of y'all may be able to hear, but hold on, I'm kind of talking about something else here. When I click into movies on streaming, the mixing is atrocious. When the characters talk, they're like, and then the music is like, BOOM! I swear to God, when I was younger watching things, this was never an issue. I could actually hear movies. I used to be able to watch movies without subtitles. Point blank period. Someone said they're so dark. No, that's the thing too. I used to be able to see and hear movies. Is it too much of an ask? Is it a hot take to think? I think if you're sitting down to watch a movie, you should be able to see and hear it. I cannot hear 75% of movies I click into, and I can't see half of them because everything is shot so dark and gray, and it pisses me off. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and boost this volume up quite a bit, and hopefully this works a little bit better. And if it's quiet, you're just gonna have to deal with it. Sorry. Let's see.
You must be very rich.
Nope, can't do it. Is this plugin even working, man? What if we like doubled it? Okay.
Rich indeed. I suppose you shall fall in love with me. I suppose you shall fall in love with me. It would be nice to be rich.
God. everything is like whispered and mumbled. Everything is whispered and mumbled nowadays, and that's fine. I know it's like someone said the plugin doesn't work. Do you think the plugin's not actually changing anything? Hold on, chat. I'm gonna try really hard not to get stuck on this. Here, there's a really easy way to see if the plugin works or not. I turned it all the way down and I can't hear it anymore. So theoretically, the plugin does work. Cause look.
I'm gonna be cruel to my servants. Take a wife.
So I don't think it's that the plugin doesn't work at all. Or do you think that the plugin just doesn't have the ability to boost beyond the level that it's actually at? Oh, this is gonna piss me off so bad. Hold on. This is gonna piss me off. Someone said, how did you get your scrubber to be pink? What? Oh, that's just how the plugin looks. It just happened to fit the branding. All right, yeah, I've
always looked fondly on...
Someone said, I cranked the volume during the trailer and you started talking. Okay. We're gonna make an agreement. We're gonna make an agreement. I'm going to turn the volume up as high as I can, and then I'm not going to talk for 1 minute. For 1 minute. So this is your chance.
Rose from the crown.
The landlord's daughter. She's quite the plainest girl I ever laid eyes on, and dull too. Look at it all. He must be very rich indeed. I suppose he shall fall in love with me. I suppose he shall fall in love with
you.
It would be nice to be rich. What should you do, Heathcliff?
What?
If you were rich?
Suppose I'd do what all rich men do. I'd live in a big house. And be cruel to my servants. Take a wife.
A wife? What wife?
Aye. I've always looked fondly on Rose from the crown.
The landlord's daughter. She's quite the plainest girl I ever laid eyes on, and dull too. Shockingly dull. She's practically a simpleton. I cannot sit here all day talking nonsense with you. After all, the Linton...
Okay. I'm speaking. We're back. I fulfilled my end of the bargain. I let it play and let y'all sort out the volume, because clearly, who is this? Warner Brothers? Paramount? Somebody? I don't even know who's doing this movie. Doesn't want to sort out the volume. It's Warner Brothers. I'm angry. All right. Anyways. Now I'll give my commentary. I actually had to let a clip play. You know, streamers are allergic to letting clips play. I was sitting there like, oh my God, I'm not streaming. This is bad content. No, I let it play. I just let all of the cringe build up inside of me as it was happening. Y'all, this don't look good. Someone said as a British person, the accents are so bad. I'm actually curious about that, because I can't speak to the accents, right? But I can say that neither of these people is British, right? Margot Robbie, she from Australia. Jacob Elordi, he from Australia. So the accents didn't sound good to me, but I'm American. I wasn't able to actually say anything about that. Someone said my thoughts are that I'm not watching this. I'm British. I don't think it's that bad. Okay. I'll let people who are more accenty opine on the accents. I think what it is more than anything for me personally, it's not that it was the accents per se. It's just that everything was so stilted. I think like everything was delivered so wouldn't we? And what is so funny to me, here I'm going to mute it just so we can avoid all these audio problems. Y'all spent this entire press tour waxing poetic, going on and on about how, oh my god, there's so much chemistry between us. We were almost dating outside of the movie. And then you watch it and it's like 2 planks of wood. 2 planks of wood. I think if anything, Margot Robbie. I was gonna try to make a joke. Hold on, this joke isn't even good. It's in the really early stages and you're gonna have to work with me. If anything, I feel like Margot Robbie is more likely. Sorry, this is a bad joke. Hold on, you're gonna have to work with me, chat. Do you know how like there are some organisms that they don't reproduce sexually? Like there's like bacteria and stuff. Hold on, wait. I swear to God, I'm not making stuff up. I vaguely remembered this from like middle school biology, but then I didn't remember enough biology to actually make this joke. Okay, yes. Okay, I didn't just make this up. Yeah, this is a thing. This is a thing. Okay, great. Asexual reproduction. Okay, I'm going to try to force this joke into existence. If anything, I feel like Margot Robbie is more likely to split into 2 of her than me actually believing there's any sort of, you know what, reproduction about to take place. Like, it's clinical. It's clinical. Sorry. Mitosis! Mitosis! That was the word I was looking for. Okay, take 2. If anything, I'm more likely to believe Margot Robbie will just commit mitosis and make another one of her than I am actually going to believe that these 2 characters have any sort of sexual tension. If you've ever wondered, if you've ever watched my edited content and thought to myself, or thought to yourself like, oh, he's kind of funny. Oh, I like that joke. Oh, that was funny. This is the exact process that I always have to go through. My first thought, I'm not even kidding. This is how I write my scripts. My first thought is I'll watch something like this and then I'll start thinking about like middle school biology. There are these cells that split and this is the joke I want to make. So I'll write an initial version of it that's really bad. And my first drafts look like Margot Robbie looks like she's going to split into 2. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. And then I have to do so much research and I have to like remember what I'm talking about. And then you get to my final version and then it's just like Margot Robbie seems more likely to commit mitosis and make 2 of her than she is to actually have any sort of sexual tension with Jacob Elordi in this movie. And then everyone's like, oh, that was kind of funny. And it's just a mid joke, but I have to suffer this much for every little bit of commentary that I do. I'm not fast. I'm not smart. I'm not really funny. It's excruciating how it's bad. It's bad. Someone said the opposite of quick-witted. I don't want to say I'm slow-witted because that just seems mean. But I am witty. It's just slow. Am I slow-witted? Nah. Anyways, someone said commit is funny. No, I like the word commit. You can commit mitosis. You can commit tax fraud, commit crimes, commit adultery if you want to. Anyways, speaking of adultery, one of our next topics has to do with adultery. It's really funny. During this stream, after we wrap up this Wuthering Heights stuff, which I'm about to do because I'm getting bored. Okay, hold on. But I want to say too, that's just what we've seen of the movie thus far, right? It's not really looking great. What other people have allegedly seen of the movie sounds unhinged. Okay, so this is The Guardian sort of reacting to reports of a test screening. Now listen, test screening reports are not always actually what's the word I'm looking for, reputable, right? This is just people saying that this happened. However, as reported, a first test screening had a mixed audience reaction. It was described as aggressively provocative and tonally abrasive. It says it contains scenes of, quote, clinical masturbation, bondage tinged sexual encounter involving horse reins, and less conventional romance. Some people were saying at one point the film apparently opens with a public hanging in which the condemned man ejaculates mid-execution. The crowd reacts orgiastically, and a nun fondles the corpse's visible erection. These are just people saying things. This is just The Guardian saying, oh, some people have said that this is true. So I'm not pushing this forward as an actual source. I'm just saying, I'm really, really worried. Chat. I'm scared. I don't want to have to watch the movie to find out if it's as bad as it seems. This is quite strange. And that kind of gets me into my issues with Emerald Fennell in general. Because, brother, I have them. I have some issues with this person's work. I feel like she relies on shock value so much that any sort of point she tries to make is constantly getting lost. Okay? I watched the movie Saltburn. Don't y'all tell me nothing about, oh, you don't understand Emerald Fennell's, oeuvre. You don't understand her MO. No, I watched this movie. I did. I really did. And I saw how any sort of point that she had to make about class or whatever, this movie didn't really make any of those points. It has the aesthetic of being a really smart movie. That's what's so annoying about Saltburn, is like it kind of seems like it's saying something, but then if you try to engage with any sort of media literacy, it almost seems to be saying poor people are bad. Has anybody watched Saltburn? Can anybody please back me up so I don't sound completely media illiterate? I swear to God, one of the most charitable readings that I could possibly give this movie is it's almost just like poor people are bad, and you should watch out. Now, granted, that's me purposely wording the premise of it funny, okay? But when you take something that already just seems to have a really weird premise that I don't understand your point, and you're immersing it in the funeral scene, the dirt scene, the bathtub scene, the blood scene. Yeah, if y'all watched this movie, you know all of these scenes I'm talking about. I don't think Emerald Fennell has like the chops to deal with Wuthering Heights. I really don't think she does, because here's the thing. I'm pulling it up. Someone said it also gives rich people are dumb. Someone said he wasn't poor. He wasn't poor. Okay, he definitely wasn't poor. Here's what I'm getting at. Saltburn is a movie about this dude who is not actually part of like this uber rich elite. He's fine. Well, I don't want, I'm not going to spoil it. Wait, I think I might have just spoiled it. Sorry. You should watch the movie and then you'll see what I mean. That's all I got to say. I don't want to spoil Saltburn for you. All I'm saying is like, it's just really interesting to see who gets villainized in that movie and who gets victimized in that movie. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Someone said he was poor compared to them. Yeah. No, y'all get me. But look, what I was going to say was, look, I'm on my story graph, okay? I'm a Storygraph fan. Instead, I'm not really a Goodreads person. Look, apparently I finished reading Wuthering Heights June 16th, 2025. I finished this book recently enough to say Emerald Fennell doesn't have the chops for this. I'm sorry. This is a complex book. I know a lot of people hate this book. I know it can be seen as boring, this, that, the other, but the author had a point. She actually had a really strong and sharp point that so many people miss. And I guess what confuses me more than anything, if you look at the way that they're playing this movie, Emerald's idea seems to be like, well, the book is always constantly misunderstood. It's just a book. And this is just my latest in a long line of misunderstanding Wuthering Heights. I just find it so strange to misunderstand or to continue willfully misinterpreting the story. That's my opinion. Someone said Parasite was so much better. Oh my God. Paris, that is such a good movie. Wait, Parasite is crazy. Can we talk about Parasite after this? Remind me to talk about Parasite. Anyways, that's the main thing that I don't get about Wuthering Heights. I personally, I'm not offended by the movie. Well, there are parts of it that are actually offensive, if I'm being honest. I think I'm more so just baffled by the decision to continue serving up this idea that Wuthering Heights is a love story when it's already so misinterpreted. Now, that being said, maybe it's just going to make me seem stupid, okay? Maybe the movie comes out and actually it's a complete subversion and everything I'm saying, she was 10 steps ahead of me. And, you know, I will update you if that happens. If the movie comes out and I'm like, oh, never mind, she did understand the assignment and she was just playing all of us, we'll do it. But I just found Saltburn. Where's Saltburn? Okay, whatever. Oh, I just found Saltburn to be so clunky that I don't really have faith in her ability to do so. That's my opinion. And actually, that's kind of all I had to say about the Wuthering Heights press tour. Hold on. So chat, we talked about the whitewashing of Heathcliff, what the book actually says, and the fact that they cast Jacob Elordi instead, all of their various reactions to this, how Jacob Elordi has managed to avoid getting the book of the criticism by staying silent about it. We talked about their weird fake PR romance that is not really making people more inclined to watch this, the matching rings, the hotel rooms full of roses, the codependency of it all, the shrines. Anyways, we talked about period accuracy and how actually that's probably one of the least things. One of the things that I'm the least worried about. I don't care about period accuracy at all on a visual standpoint, as long as you're acknowledging that you're not trying to be accurate. And I do have to shoehorn in this one last little point. Speaking of the inaccuracy of it all, the music has been a bop. The music has been a bop. I want to sit here and act cool. I want to be the cool commentary YouTuber who hates everything. I'm like, oh no, I hate Wuthering Heights. I was sitting there bopping out. I think I'm gonna die in this house. I've been playing that one. I've been playing the Chains of Love. She has a new one with the violins. I've been playing that violin song. I'm like, no, hold on. This soundtrack might eat. I want to hate it. I want to hate it on principle. But what's really gonna win? My appreciation for experimental electronic music or my distaste for this upcoming movie? Sadly, this Charlie soundtrack has been winning. But anyways, I had to throw that in there just so y'all know, like, it's not performative with me. I'm a hater of what I'm actually a hater of. I'm a hater of the whitewashing. I am just not a fan of this PR relationship. It's not cool. It's stupid. Honestly, it's annoying. Definitely not here for the way people are talking about this movie. There are aspects of it, though, that either I like or I think are fine, but they definitely don't make up for the fact that this is quite a flawed interpretation even before it comes out. And that's sort of my opinion. Any closing thoughts? Someone said you don't need this movie to get your Charlie on. That's so true, though. I literally can just listen to the soundtrack. Closing thoughts before we move on? Because let me know. We finna move on. I'm finna move on. Someone said Rina Sawayama mentioned. Bro, Rina Sawayama's so good. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I'm gonna close this and then we'll talk about Parasite. Nothing else. This movie is Emerald Fennell's self-insert fanfic, someone says. I would tend to agree. Or rather, Emerald's not doing a great job of dissuading me from this belief. Let me say it like that. Someone said the test crowd made me nervous. Yes, it left me quite nervous. Reading. Someone said talk about Charlie getting Rena blacklisted for talking about Matt Healy. If that happened, I don't know the specifics of that, but that's awful because I like Charlie XCX music and Rina's music. No, I do remember though that Rina Sawayama explaining that she was experiencing, if I remember correctly, racism, and then a bunch of people were like, "Nah," which was awful. Someone said, "Are you going to see the Caleb apology?" What? Caleb did not apologize, y'all. What are you talking about? Or which Caleb are you talking about? I find that to be unlikely. Is this just bait? Is this just bait? I'm not falling for that. That he's not going to apologize. There's nothing to apologize for. Anyways. All right, I think we've covered it. Oh, it's for his app. Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah. No, he should. That makes way more sense than anything. All right, moving on. Closing it. Are we good? All right. I'm closing it. So, everybody stay right here. I am going to record an outro, and then we're going to move on into the next topic. But I'm going to say bye. I'm not actually saying bye. In fact, we should all be saying bye. Everyone say bye to YouTube. Anyway, those were just sort of my various thoughts and opinions, but hopefully, if you so choose, you never have to think about Wuthering Heights ever again. I know I will try not to. And yeah, I actually recorded this video live right here on YouTube, where I stream quite frequently. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Unless I don't. In which case, I've just decided to sleep probably, or not do my work. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's on you, not me. Anyway, I hope to see you in the next video or stream, but if I don't, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, bye. Okay, great. Stop recording. Yeah. I need some more water. I've been watering it up, man. I don't know why. It's like, does anybody get more dehydrated when you're cold? All right. Someone said, see y'all, I haven't gotten around to Parasite yet. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to spoil Parasite, so don't worry about that. Dude. Parasite is such a good movie. It made me feel smart. I felt smart watching it. I was like, oh, wow. I am media literate. I was like, no, I understood this movie. Because I feel like the director he really took his core idea and he turned it into such like a strong statement. I don't know how to describe it. Everything from the performances to the way the movie looks to the house they were in, the points that it's making. I love Parasite. I would honestly recommend it, even if you're not a super big horror fan and you're like, oh no, I don't want to see a bunch of like scary stuff. You could probably still watch the movie. I'm not actually the biggest fan of like slashy horror stuff or anything like that, but Parasite was a bop. Someone said you just watched it now? No, I watched Parasite for the first time a few years ago. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's so good. Someone said the house is perfect. Oh, the house was so good. It was such a beautiful thing that they made. It wasn't even real. Did anybody know that the house from Parasite wasn't real? When I found that out, I was literally shook. Hold on. House from... I want to make sure I'm not spreading misinformation. Yeah, I'm not spreading misinformation. Okay. This was actually... It's not a house. That is the craziest thing. It was a set. I was shook. Someone said mitosis hysterical. No, I'm so sorry that you all saw me sit through 2 minutes of me trying to workshop a bad mitosis joke. But sometimes that's what you get when we record live right here on YouTube. Anyways, Parasite's a great movie, and that is why I was so disappointed by Mickey 17. I was so disappointed by that movie. Hold on. I'm going to go get some more water because I think I drank literally all of my water. Why did I take that off like that? And then I'm going to tell you about Mickey 17. I have some complaints. And then we're going to get into our other topics. We're going to talk about the lady from the Coldplay concert kiss cam controversy. There's an update there, and it's really funny. We're gonna talk about not having children or recent crash outs because a celebrity recently said that she wasn't gonna have children, and then sparked this debate. And I have some stuff to say. And then also, pretty much one of the worst articles I've seen recently published about something that someone said during one of their acceptance speeches. So we still rolling, but I need water. I need some water. Hey. Okay. Bro, Mickey 17 wasn't it. That movie wasn't it. I read the book. The book was fine. I didn't super love it or anything. And it's honestly hard for me to describe what it was about Mickey 17 that was so not my vibe. I wouldn't say it was like a terrible movie by any means. I think for sure someone says standby music. Yeah, no, I need a screen that says be right back. I just haven't made it yet. Look, I made this banger. Oh, goodbye. I made this banger starting soon screen, and I keep forgetting to go back and make another version of that says be right back. But I'll do that. But yeah, until then, you just get chair streams. No. Listen, there's something about the movie. Someone said it felt directionless. Yeah, no, it did though. It did feel directionless. Robert's accent, I didn't super hate Robert Pattinson's really weird delivery. It was strange though, and a little bit distracting. Yeah, I guess I just felt like an aimlessness. I'm gonna plagiarize your thesis. Mickey 17 felt a little bit aimless to me. There were several times during the movie where I was asking myself, like, what is this movie about? I don't know. And also, that's on me too. Some said D'Angelo opinion, I don't agree with. No, that's fine. I went into this movie with way too many expectations. I did that thing that you should not do with media. You shouldn't make up a movie in your head and then get mad at a movie for not being that. But unfortunately, I think that happened to me with Mickey 17, where I was like, oh, I know how this is going to be. Yeah. And then it was something else that was very odd. It was too long at times. Yeah. But definitely not like, oh, all my faith in this director has gone out the window now because of this one movie. Not even close. All right. Some said I thought I was going to get more spoilers. No spoilers. Let's go ahead and talk about one of our next topics because this is hilarious. So, speaking of Charlie XCX, this is not a video. By the way, if you're new to the stream, I already recorded the video. This is just us yapping. Can we please talk about child-free podcast controversy? Because I thought that was actually quite interesting. Who here doesn't have children and is also never going to have children? Having kids is lit. Yes, please take care of them and all of that stuff. But right now, I'm looking for that core group of people. They actually exist. Who knows for sure you're not going to have kids. You're not waiting for the right person. You're not like, oh no, I love it's up and down. You're not going to have them. It's just your choice. You're not going to turn into a different person later, magically or whatever. Okay, great. This group of people has always existed. I do think that there are a lot of people who don't know if they're actually going to have kids, for sure. There's some people whose opinion is like, I don't know, things could change or whatever. But there is definitely a core group of people who has just made up their mind and is going to stick to it. And they are like constantly, I feel like, invalidated, sort of. And I feel like it was those people who were like a bit put off by this interview. Can I say right now, I'm also part of those people. I'm also part of those people. Now, I think it gets a little more complex because it's a very gendered issue, obviously, right? A woman saying she doesn't want to have kids isn't exactly treated the same as a man saying, oh, he doesn't want to have kids, because society has this really odd idea that on some level, like, a woman's purpose is actually to give birth to the next generation. And if you're not doing that, what the heck are you doing with your life? That energy, even if it's not expressed in those exact words, definitely crops up enough to color this whole conversation with like a really nasty lens. However, as a man, don't y'all just love sentences that start off with as a man? As a man, I also get a lesser but quite strange version of this pushback when I tell people, oh no, I'm not kids, I'm not having those. Where people are like, oh, but don't you want to like leave a legacy? I did. It's called youtube.com/D'Angelo Wallace. It's not a kid, but what you mean? I'm finna die. They would have to delete this website to get rid of me. You know how many people no. Okay, so they're like, oh, but don't you just want to like, you know, you're gonna get older. You want something to do in your life. No, I don't. I don't want that in my life. I so desperately don't want actually to have like a 20-year project. That's 20 years at minimum. 20 years at minimum. That I would have to actively be involved in this child's life. And then it's a lifelong process after that too. I have had dudes react the weirdest when I say I don't want to have kids. They start going off on tangents about like, oh, what kind of, and I'm like, it's never happening. It's never going to happen. I'm telling you right now. I know that I don't want it because I know who I am. I know who I am. Some said I want to be free and just exist. Yeah, no, exactly. I think, sorry, I know I brought up the interview clip. We're going to get to it, but I have to yap a little bit. Like, it's I've mentioned this. Some said I'm selfish. Oh no, I've seen that too. I've seen that too. That you're essentially selfish for not having kids. And I'm like, guess I'm selfish. Call me selfish. I don't know. It's not a moral failure to not want to have children. And it's mostly, I've talked about this before on stream, it's like having or seeing decent parenthood in action is the main thing for me personally, where I was just like, nah, I'm not finna do it. I see what it takes from the outside to be a decent parent. And I'm like, oh, I opt out of this conversation. I opt out of this conversation. It doesn't make you a better person to have kids, but there's definitely a lot of opportunities where you got to consistently choose better as a parent. And I'm like, no. Someone said I want to foster. Fostering is one thing, but yeah, no, it's not a fluke. I'm not going to meet the right person and change my mind. I just don't want children, as baffling as this is to some people. Reading chat. Someone said I love my life as is. Yeah, you are absolutely free to just be like, actually, I really like my life without children and I don't want them. You don't have to explain it. It's always with the you'll change your mind. Okay, let's get into it. So I'm pulling this from Twitter because this isn't like something that I researched or whatever, but this is whoa, wait, let me make sure I turn off my audio booster or this is going to be awful. Okay. It's on 100. Chat, that could have been really bad. Reading chat. Someone said, what do you mean? Do I want kids? I am the kid. I kind of feel that way sometimes. I won't lie to you. All right. So here. This is a clip from Charlie XCX, singer. We were just talking about her appearance on the Smartless podcast. And this is how that went down.
Does that mean that you would love to have more than one kid, or would you like to have a kid that has the same sort of experience as you, where it's the only child and then you get to just kind of nurture and protect and?
I actually don't really want to have kids.
No.
Before I get into this, it's so funny that the question wasn't posed as like, oh, do you want kids? It was like, do you want a kid? What would you prefer, one child or many? Charlie's like,
No.
You don't? Wait, why?
Yeah. You know, who knows? That could change.
By the way, it's none of my business.
It's like I love like the fantasy of having a child, like
Yeah.
like naming it sounds so fun. But I'm like, that is exactly a sign to me as to why I should not have one. The fact that that feels like the coolest part about it.
Right,
I'm like, maybe I'm not ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
starting off strong. What I really, really, really hate is that she gave an answer. They're finna call this over analysis, but I hate that she gave an answer, which was just no. And then was immediately hit with why, and is now having to explain herself. It's okay to just be like, no. Are you gonna have kids? No. Why? Don't worry about it. Like, why are they pushing this issue? Okay, anyways.
You know, all that could change if you might I mean, I'm sort of, I guess I'm backing into giving myself a half-assed compliment here, but my wife did not want to have kids, so the story goes, so she tells. And she said once we started going out and she was like, okay, I think I can have a kid with this guy. So you might find somebody.
Well, I'm married, so
there you go.
yeah.
I gotta
This is a little cringe, y'all. This is a little cringe. Actually, this is a lot of cringe. Actually, sorry, I really got stun locked for a second. He really did say, well, some men, my wife changed her mind because of me, so you might do the same thing. Why is this always the reaction you get when you tell people, I just don't wanna. I just don't wanna. This is so insanely awkward. Okay, there's only 17 seconds left. Let's let this finish.
read a newspaper one of these days.
You know, it's okay.
No, that's why you're here.
I was enjoying. I knew immediately like where you were gonna go. I knew my response. I was really looking forward to it. So
Maybe your next husband, you're gonna want kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, let me finish, Charlie.
Yeah.
Brother, my brother in Christ, take the L, take the L, take the L, and be like, the ability to realize when you are sounding dumb, I don't always have access to it. A lot of times I have to start sounding dumb and then I hear myself and I'm like, oh, wait, hold on a second. I'm dumb posting on main right now. But just the lack of this ability that so many podcasters have, that was painful. That was painful. You're going to meet the right guy. You'll have kids with your second husband. I know he was obviously joking at that point, but what is this line of questioning? Why is this a joke? Nah. Someone said that's gross as hell. Someone said cringe. I hate that. It's men asking her this. I feel like I need to cover my drink. No, yeah. I think what happened here is like, it was just a 1 minute conversation, but many people were just getting the ick. I did. I was just like, brother, please. No. No. Also, what she said was actually really relatable to me because I do think about naming kids. Even though I'm not finna have a kid, I am very much like, I have the first name and middle name picked out. Actually, I even have like the various names for the multiple kids picked out. It's gonna sound so good when you say like their full name together. I arranged it so that like their initials look cool because you want your initials to look cool as well, so that their names sound similar. So like if you say them in a sentence, you'd be like, oh, those people are probably related. I made them sound like kind of close to my name, but not too close to my name. I really do on some level. Like, I'm so unserious. I'm so deeply unserious. I don't want actually kids. Anytime I've ever thought to myself anything about a kid, like me being a parent, it's been on the level of like customization. I'm like, this is essentially just like having another character in The Sims. And I recognize and I accept that that's not it. Someone said drop the names. I'm never dropping my imaginary kids' names. It's cringe. It's cringe, brother. This is cringe. Someone said at this point, just download The Sims. That's how I feel. There is a certain type of person you would be happier. You would be happier not having a child. Also, this might be an unpopular opinion. Wait, hold on. I got to make sure I'm wording this correctly. Please don't shoot the messenger if this comes out whack. But some of y'all definitely should have started with a dog before jumping to the kid. I'm not talking about any one particular person. I'm just talking about, like, there is a certain type of parent that gets so pissed off when their child turns into an actual person. They like the idea of taking care of somebody and having someone be dependent on them. But then when that person is actually like, I'm a complex adult now, hatred, pure malice I've seen come from some parents when their child stops being a child. And I'm like, if that is you and you just only want the experience of someone being dependent on you, you can take care of so many other forms of beings that need your help, love, and support. They don't have to be children, in my opinion. I'm not saying be irresponsible and go get a dog without doing research, but you know exactly what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm saying. Someone said my parents. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I just described your parents, but I've seen it. Okay. That was enough about that. Someone says she hates who I became. You know what? Let's be real. It's not my parents per se that I have an issue with or whatever, but there's definitely people in my family who totally hate everything that I turned into, going around on the internet saying, yes, I'm a non-binary man. I use he, him pronouns exclusively. Awful to these people. Me being just honestly like who I am is so deeply offensive. Back when I was a child, and I seemed like I was going to turn into a normal man, because seemed like a normal boy, even though, let me tell you right now, that wasn't the case. Everybody was so happy for me and all of these things. But yeah, no, start getting a little too weird. And all of a sudden you have the oldest relatives imaginable just acting like they don't want to be seen with you. And it's like, okay. But what you didn't realize is like that 5-year-old version of me was still this though. It was coming for you. You were just in denial. Reading chat. Someone said masking. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people will like the version of you that was masking as a child. But then when you're like, no, actually, this is who I am. It's like, oh no, what do I do with this? Reading chat. Some of you also start with the Tamagotchi. Even a dog is too much. True. Honestly. All right. Anyways. I realized my father didn't know everything, and that's when he started hating me. Hold on. Wait. You're getting into something that I just... Because here's the thing. No parent will ever admit to the other side of what you just said. But what you just said is real. Actually, I've seen so often where I see a parent and I'm like, oh, you are pissed off that your child is old enough to see through your BS now. That is the core of this dysfunctional relationship. You hate that anybody can dare challenge you. Because that's the thing. Yes, when you're a teenager, you're an adolescent, you're obviously going to have some growing pains. But there's a level beyond that where I'm like, oh no, you're actually just mad that you can't lie to your kids and get away with it anymore. You're mad that you can't say hateful things about other people, and your kid has an opinion now and he's going to check you, or I'm talking about myself. You see me projecting. Like, there are some family members that get so pissed off when you turn into a person who will actually call them out on their garbage. It's not good. But trust, I'm still going to be calling out the garbage. And so if this is just going to be like, oh, the whole time, then I guess we beefing. I would beef with my own parents if they were on some nonsense. I would really do it. But some parents hate that, man. All right, anyways, moving on from the parent conversation. I would like to talk about the the dumbest article that I've ever seen come out of a mainstream organization. No, I've seen some pretty awful articles. Okay. I'm not a big like fan of any one particular organization. Actually, can I tell y'all the mainstream outlets that I like? Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong and bad. I'm not trying to glaze. I like Reuters low key. Because to me, they are so boring and accurate, and I get so little fluff when it comes to their articles. I'm like, I honestly feel like I'm still gonna try to verify, but I feel like I can rely on Reuters to be really boring and straight to the point. Someone said Reuters is sick. No, for real. This is like the only one where I'm not worried about some garbage happening. Now, if it happens, you know, I'm going to be like, nah, this is not it. Someone said New York Post is so garbo. The New York Post is terrible. The New York Post is awful. And now CBS is going down the drain, and the New York Times has so many issues. No, it's a mess. Someone said Wikipedia vibes. Yeah, they're pretty straight up. I want Wikipedia coded news. When it comes to almost any other publication, I already am coming into this with beef. And this Washington Post article, that is real. This is a real article. I already didn't like WAPO for various reasons. No, Billie Eilish. Americans are not thieves on stolen land. Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we start? It's like they're doing the thing that a lot of these outlets do, where they're like, oh, we're going to label this opinion. This is an opinion piece. And we're just going to say this is just one guy. In this case, it's two guys. This is just one guy talking. So we're just an outlet. We're just an outlet. Why are you publishing this? So, as it says right here, Billie Eilish brought the house down at the Grammy Awards when she declared, no one is illegal on stolen land. And she did say that, by the way. And I agree. I agree with that entire statement. It's definitely a simplification, but the core message, people can't be illegal. You cannot be illegal as a human being. And also just this idea of American imperialism and us having entitlement to the things that we are consuming is wrong. Obviously, y'all know what she meant, right? No. WAPO, the Washington Post, is like, while the first half of the statement was a fan favorite aimed at President Donald Trump and ICE, the second half was a throwback evoking popular land declarations this past decade that consider all land stolen, if not derived from an original indigenous title. Is this a woke position now? Y'all are really gonna piss me off. Is it woke to believe? I believe... I agree. I agree that all land would be stolen. If not... no, duh? Hello? Okay, sorry. It's time to put Billie Eilish's theory of property out to pasture. Americans are not thieves who built on stolen land. So what they try to get into, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, is they're essentially like, oh, well, some of the indigenous people that lived here when we came, who is we? I wasn't there. They also took land from other people before we got there. So Billie is wrong. I kid you not. This is actually the thesis of this article. Look. I said I'm not going to read it. I have to read it. So they have these land acknowledgements, right? I'm not here to make statements on land acknowledgements. I don't know the details of that. But it says, these acknowledgements acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi-generational trauma. What the resolution fails to mention is that some of this mayhem was inflicted by one Native American tribe on another. Consider the fierce conquest of the Southern Plains, or the prevalence of Native American slavery before the European arrival. It also fails to mention that we, presumably white people, inflicted similar harms on one another across centuries of war, displacement, and conquest. I hear this argument a lot too. When as a black person, when you allude to slavery being bad, you like dare suggest, oh, slavery, that's not a good thing. You're going to start getting people being like, oh yeah, well, some people in Africa who were African were selling you as slavery, and even some black people. And I'm like, well, all I said was that slavery was bad. They are really trying to say, well, what about all the other land that was stolen? Why are you coming for white people? Los Angeles inserts no time to mention. Okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm skipping all this part. The land long ago taken from X has in the interim centuries been conveyed to Y and Z and countless others who then have built, torn down, and built again homes, hospitals, and schools. Oh, not this. Y'all are really saying, oh, because we built people's homes, hospitals, and schools, that Billy is wrong for saying no one is illegal and stolen, and that the land is not stolen? Yes, we built homes, hospitals, and schools on... Seeing people try to shift the window so far is what actually does my head in. Why are we trying to make this sound like an extreme leftist brain rot? So they're talking about actually there are laws. There are laws now that you have to follow, and people legally own their land because of laws made up by the people who stole the land. And then they go on to say, hold on, this is really great. They go on to say, it's easy to call the land stolen, but what about the innocent purchasers who acquired in good faith in the interim? This is crazy. This is actually wild. That's kind of like saying like, oh, Amazon is like, you know, causing so much destruction in so many different levels. But what about the innocent people who are just buying things off of Amazon? Yes, we are all contributing. That doesn't mean any individual one person needs to get singled out. If you're like, oh crap, I need like, you know, baby diapers delivered. Sorry, I don't know how kids work. I don't have those. And you're like, I can get them here today and I can't leave and do this, and you get it delivered. I'm not here to say any one individual person is a problem. Just like Billie Eilish wasn't standing up here and saying that when she said no one is illegal on stolen land. But WAPO is really out here like, are they thieves? Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Is Eilish a thief because, as the Tongva tribe recently asserted, her $3 million mansion in Los Angeles sits on ancestral homeland? Yes, Billie Eilish is complicit in the taking of, as you say, people's ancestral homelands. It's not like performative for her to point this out just because she still has a home. This is they really tried to pull the, oh really, well if this is bad, why do you have an expensive house? If Eilish meant that a random person could squat on land previously stolen from someone else, her assertion contradicts doctrines and common sense, etc., etc., etc. And they start really getting into this dumb idea that like, oh, if that's the case, just give away your house. Fortunately, Eilish does not actually practice what she preaches, for otherwise anyone would be free to squat in her mansion by asserting the property belongs to the Tongva people, not her. But the same legal doctrines that protect her also protect Americans against sweeping claims that they live on stolen land. The claim is true. We do. Is this not such a strange article? Performative politics usually ends when celebrities get off stage and become, however briefly, ordinary people. I see. Oh, I realized I wasn't even breathing. That was a deep breath. I see so much performative stuff, like actual performative things, coming from celebrities all the time. Obviously, I'm not here to say Billie Eilish fixed reality by saying this on stage. I just personally think a little less than 10 words in a sentence, even that little bit of trying to acknowledge other people who have less of a voice than you gets labeled performative, and we have to clap back in the Washington Post and lie and say, no, Americans are not thieves on stolen land, and try to shut down any of this criticism. If y'all were wondering how, someone said we're all dumber now. Thanks, Steve. I am sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I saw this earlier. I think it was today. Was it today? Yeah. I straight up saw this today and I was like, what? I saw it 12 minutes ago when I saved this morning, and I was like, there is absolutely no way that y'all publish this. Hold on, I think it's still up too. Washington Post, Billie Eilish land. Nah, they're sticking with it. Yeah, no, they're sticking with it. I archived it that way I could get past the paywall, but someone said also low-key, what's wrong with performative action? Never heard of fake it till you make it. Can we talk about that though? Actually, can we talk about that? What's wrong with performative action? Never heard of fake it till you make it. Let's take Billie, for example, right? She's been really vocal against ICE, right? Billie Eilish can't make ICE go away because she is a celebrity. She's just a celebrity, right? She's a singer. She does have a lot more power than the average person to do things and help people, but Billie Eilish can't fix politics, right? I have seen so many people kind of use that as like a hammer to be like, therefore, Billie Eilish should not be speaking about politics ever. Take off the ice out pin. Don't post these things on your story. Don't bring awareness. Don't make these statements on stage because you can't fix it and you're not fixing it. And I'm like, it's really so deeply confusing to me because it just feels like defeatism personally. That's how it comes across to me personally. When you're like, you can't change this and you can't fix it, so you should just pull a Sydney Sweeney and never say anything about these things and just zip your lip or whatever. No one has successfully explained to me yet what is wrong with celebrities speaking up about important issues. I have not thus far seen a single convincing argument for why it would actually be better if Billie Eilish stepped on stage, said nothing about ICE or American politics, never posted anything, took all of her awards and left and continued being a completely out of touch celebrity. I don't understand why people get so pissed off about this. I think if Billie Eilish was like constantly censoring herself and making it the Billie Eilish show, that would be like, okay, what are you doing here? But like, what have we been talking about this entire time? Land and how this is a dangerous thing and it's not right to treat people this way. She is starting conversations about things that are important. I don't know. I'm gonna paraphrase a comment I saw. I read a lot of comments, unfortunately, y'all. I read a lot of comments, and one of them I read, somebody was talking about One Direction and they said like, oh, I remember becoming pro-Palestine because of one of Zayn's tweets. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe Zayn wasn't tweeting like that, or maybe I pulled the wrong One Direction man. But like, I remember reading that and just thinking to myself, honestly, I have also been informed of some things because of things that celebrities have posted. I guess you could find that embarrassing or whatever. But why would you find that embarrassing? I know it's really easy to say, we all know that these things are bad. But if Billie Eilish saying this was the first time that some young person ever really stopped and thought about the things she was saying, I don't understand how that's bad. I'll never understand it. Never, ever, 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 ever. I don't get it. So much of it just reads as an attempt to silence things that make people uncomfortable. And it's odd. Now, that being said, celebrities don't get a free pass just because you're up there speaking. I'm not going to start being like, yes, this is the Billie Eilish glaze stream where we're just going to start glazing Billie and do all these things. That doesn't make any sense, but that doesn't quite seem to be the core thesis of many of the things I've seen from Billie Eilish. Not much of it seems to be about that, or me thinking that we should be, I don't know, hyping her up. She seems to treat a lot of what she does as the bare minimum, and that just makes more sense to me personally. Also, y'all just hate loud women. Also, y'all just get really annoyed. Some of y'all get really annoyed when women say anything ever. And you're like, she should just shut up. Make your songs, stupid singer. Wear your cool outfits, but don't ever speak or have opinions. But anyways, just kidding. JK. Just kidding. I didn't say that. Because if I said that, some people are going to clip it out of context and be like, oh my God, you're trying to use this to shut. I didn't say that. JK, I'm not being serious. Please don't come for me. Please don't come for me. I'm just. It's notable who are always the prime targets of these conversations. That's all I've got to say. That doesn't mean any criticism of celebrities and the way that they talk about important issues is just stemming from misogyny. And that's not what I'm getting at. But anyways, moving on. Someone said clipped. No! Someone said my pronouns are annoying woman. Nice. Those are my pronouns as well. My pronouns are annoying NB. Man. I think being annoying is a valid set of pronouns, actually. You know what's really funny? Hold on. This is my one allotted LGBT topic for the day. When people start making jokes about gender and they're like, oh my gosh, you are using like different pronouns or you're this, that, the other. And they're trying to make it seem like essentially we think gender is ridiculous or whatever. I'm usually reading those comments and I'm like, yes, I do. I do think gender is ridiculous. I feel just as represented by goofy pronouns as I do by he and him. That's not everybody's experience of gender by any means. But I feel like a lot of people's attempt to like make all of this sound stupid or whatever, I'm usually sitting by the sidelines like, that's what I was trying to say. Yep, I was trying to point out that none of this actually matters and should never be a reason to judge people or prevent them from getting the care that they need to help be who they are. You almost got it. You almost understood. That's the funny thing is how adjacent it is when people say, well, you can't be non-binary because then you're essentially saying gender doesn't matter at all. Yes. Yeah. It doesn't matter to you. I actually could identify as an attack helicopter. That's the craziest thing. And it still wouldn't matter. The attack helicopter joke. I think about that sometimes and I'm like, you know what, chat? You know what, chat? Sometimes I do feel closer to an attack helicopter than I do to whatever society's definition of man is, or that assigned gender that they labeled me. I'd be looking at machinery sometimes. I'd be looking at abstract concepts and I'm like, no, that's me right there. I'm just being honest. I'm just being straight up. Now we're just getting a little too weird. I know that I'm getting a little too out there. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't know, chat. It just don't mean nothing. Someone said funnier when object. No, literally. I'm actually spitting because it's so funny to me. It's so funny how so much of what people tried to say to make you feel bad. I'm just kind of like, but however, what if I was just a machine flying through the sky? That's the real me. Not an attack helicopter because I don't want to attack people, but just like a helicopter or like a plane, a mechanical bird. Someone said abstract concepts are my favorite gender. Yes. Like straight up imagine if you were just a mechanical bird. Would that not be super awesome? I feel like if you saw a mechanical bird fly through the sky and you had any thoughts in your mind about like, whoa, that's awesome. That's cool. That's its own thing. That's my identity. That's how I identify. Whatever you felt looking at that mechanical bird, that's what's going on in here underneath the guy suit. And if that don't make sense to you, that's okay. That's just my personal non-binary experience. I'm moving on. Anyways. Someone said the gender binary is Booba and Kiki. Wait, you're going really deep with the references here. But yeah, it really is. I go by alien because I'm non-binary. Period. Imagine being a train. That would be so cool. It would be so cool to be a train. I'm being so for real right now. Moving on. I have one more topic for you before we just start yapping about random stuff that nobody cares about. And who remembers this? because this was so funny. Does anybody remember this?
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having
The Coldplay concert kiss cam controversy? Coldplay concert kiss cam controversy? Somebody said y'all lost me. Don't worry. It's okay. I remember this because it was really funny. I don't remember exactly when it happened. I must have been mid 2025. Okay. So yeah, I wasn't posting videos or anything like that, but I was very much there. I was very much there on the internet. Excuse me. When this happened. So for those of you who don't know, or you're like, oh, what was that? What is the context here? Probably most of you know, but essentially they did the little kiss cam where you show random couples, and then this couple got shown. Bro, they were cheating. They were cheating. Hold on. He was the CEO. He was the CEO of his company, and he's married. He had a whole wife, and she was the chief people officer at this company, astronomer. And they got blown up during a Coldplay concert because they got caught on the kiss cam. Before I get into the next stage of this, I just want to say that's hilarious. Someone said, who missed this? Nobody missed this. We were all there when this happened. Unless you weren't, in which case that's fine. This is so funny. In a vacuum. This is so funny. Because y'all can't... I'm trying to think of how to word this. How would you ever wind up in this position? How could you be this? I don't know what the word is I want to use. It's not even dumb. It's not even dumb, actually. There's another word. Oblivious? Perhaps? How could you really think that this was going to be a good look? And then what is so funny as well is that, like, why did they react this way? Look at this reaction. Freaking the hell. Chad, if they had just played it cool, no one would have ever realized what happened. But because they reacted this way, you get Chris Martin of Coldplay making these comments, it going super viral, etc., etc., etc. Now, unfortunately, people were also just being people, meaning not everybody was making memes. Some people were definitely being awful about it. And so what you have here now, this is from the end of last year. So this is the lady in question speaking. And she said, exec caught in Coldplay kiss cam with married boss breaks her silence. She said it was a bad decision and that they had a couple of high noons. It was the alcohol, bro. She was hitting that alcohol. She has maintained that actually this was like the first time that they were actually doing anything physical. She said prior to that moment, it was just a big happy crush. She said, I definitely thought he was a good looking guy. And I had that thought of if I didn't work here. But anyways, yeah, no, my immediate reaction was, holy crap, my husband. Oh, yeah, because she was also married. But she was getting a separation. She reacted that way because she was like, holy crap, my husband was there. We were in the middle of an amazingly amicable separation. I was worried I would embarrass him. And then she was like, oh no, this is my boss. This is a bad look. Boston's not a good town. Now, she goes into detail about people calling her a slut, a homewrecker, a gold digger, scrutinizing her appearance. How many people does it take to cheat, chat? I may not be a STEM major, but I'm good at this math. How many people does it take to cheat? 2. How many people does it take to wreck a home? 2. Takes 2 people. So often when I see people talking about cheating or anything like this, it is just dumped on her. There's a her, and the her in question is like, she is a home wrecker. She's a home wrecker. The whole concept of being a home wrecker to me is so cringe. Hold on. Home wrecker meaning a person who is blamed for the breakup of a marriage or family, especially due to having engaged in an affair with one member of a couple. That's a bad definition. I believe a homewrecker is the person who was in the relationship and cheated. So I believe, for example, let's just use a really high profile example because, hey, we do celebrity entertainment news here. I believe that when Ariana Grande and SpongeBob, you know Ariana Grande and SpongeBob, obviously. Ariana and SpongeBob. Okay, great. Oh, my internet's acting up. Okay, great. These two people right here. He plays SpongeBob on Broadway. That's why I'm calling him SpongeBob. I believe that when Ariana Grande and SpongeBob were doing things while this man was married, that he was a homewrecker. We should rephrase that. Ariana Grande was just being a horrible person and also cheating, by the way. But actually, I'm always like, nah, you are the homewrecker in this scenario. So that's my take personally. You wrecked your own home. What you mean? You wrecked it real good all by yourself. That's my personal opinion. My personal opinion. Some said they were both married. Yeah, no, it was bad though. Look, the reason I never talked about the Ariana Grande cheating thing is because on some level, I do also feel like I don't care as much about cheating as the average person. And here's what I mean by that. I would never cheat on somebody because it's immensely disrespectful and also can be really unsafe. There's just so many reasons not to do it. There's no reason to do it. So I care about cheating insofar that like I'm not a cheater. However, I won't lie. When I do see cheating scandals happen and stuff like that, I'm usually on the sidelines just kind of like, oh, okay. People get, I understand it. It's a bad thing to do to another person. And I am not advocating for people to do this. You should never do this to a person. It takes so much disrespect for them to do that. But I think for sure, just that really strong reaction that people come into a lot of cheating news with, I can't do it. And that's why when I was like, if I talk about this Ariana Grande scenario, everyone's going to get really pissed off. When I'm like, oh, she did this and it was really bad. I personally think everyone involved here, except the people who are being cheated on, did the wrong thing. And I'm not bringing that additional level that I see so many people talk about when it comes to cheaters. I don't really often understand why it becomes news. Maybe this is just because I'm stupid. Someone said, why is it a worldwide scandal? No. I'm being so honest. I'm seeing some question marks in chat. I'm being honest. I'm not doing this for content. Anytime I see a major cheating scandal, I'm like, it's the one bit of entertainment news I'm never able to really understand or get to the bottom of. Someone said it's so weird how we are so parasocial about this stuff. For real. No, I mean, like, I don't want it to sound like I'm advocating for people to cheat and get away with it. I'm just more so just like, I have never in the history of my time online actually cared about other people's relationships or what they're doing in them. Even if those things are wrong or something, unless someone's like, you know, no, I mean, this is a bad take. You're getting a bad take. Congrats, you're getting a live bad D'Angelo take, which is that I fail to understand why this always happens the way that it does. I'm sorry. Horrible take from my POV. I know that this is an unpopular opinion and I'm supposed to be like pissed, but I'm just more so like, oh, that sucks. And I feel so sorry for the people who were involved, but I don't have enough thoughts about this to fill a commentary video. To be honest, I never have enough thoughts about cheating scandals to actually make a commentary video on. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? Cheating is bad? I concur. I don't know. It's wild. I see some people see what I'm saying. Okay, thank you. Now, that being said, I think important things happen. When this happened, I remember Ethan Slater's wife put out this piece called How Does My Divorce Make You Feel? I guess that's what that was called. And it was amazing. This was, oh, Gosh darn it. I'm not going to pay y'all. Archive.Iceland. Yeah. Okay, great. I read this article and I was like, wow, this is powerful. I might be misremembering. Maybe it was mid. But I seem to remember thinking to myself, like, this is powerful stuff. This is an amazing sort of treatment of what's going on here. These are conversations that I think we should be having. But when it comes to kind of like, this is the only part I care about, I guess. The actual scandal of Ariana Grande and SpongeBob, it doesn't work on me. I'm more so just like, I want to know how you feel, how you really, really, really feel publicly. And if that's something you're willing to share, we can get into it. But most of the times you get these cheating scandals and nobody involved ever actually says anything about how it made them feel. So I'm just supposed to stand outside the house with a sign and be like, all of y'all suck. I don't really know about it. It's really interesting. Someone said it was good. Yeah, no, I liked that article a lot. So I hope, and hopefully this recontextualizes this for some of y'all. If it sounds like I'm saying cheating is not a big deal, I really love this article from the perspective of somebody who was cheated on a really high profile, on a scale that became everybody's pop culture entertainment, talking about how it affected her work, talking about how she's a therapist and now she has her clients using her upcoming divorce as like a frame of reference and stuff like that. I think it is actually an amazingly complex response that it engenders in people who were cheated on. I just don't really know how to have that conversation from the outside. That's all. Okay. But wait, I wasn't done. I was saying this to say, with the Coldplay concert kiss cam controversy, I do understand why that went viral. Because despite everything that I just said, that was hilarious. That was so funny. I'm sorry. Listen, it's not funny to cheat on people, etc. Just the idea of this really happening, that made total sense to me. And so whereas the person involved deserved none of the hate comments, I'm sorry, all of the memes were deserved. Every single meme that was made about this that was just trying to make fun of it, y'all brought this on yourself. All this to say, I saw now that she has spun this into a speaking career. And we now get this person wants to speak to us. This would be her right here. Wants to speak at a PR week, Crisis Comms, charging a cool $750 per ticket. So if you want, scrounge up $750, you can go hear the perspective of the Coldplay concert controversy person, and she will explain, what was she talking about? Overnight becoming a global household name. Wait, I really like how even in this controversy, she's still like bragging. She's like, when a brief video of a personal moment went instantly viral. 300 billion UVMs to date. What is a UVM actually? Is that an unidentified virtual Macintosh? I have no idea what a UVM is, but she's very proud of having 300 billion of those. Overnight, she was a global household name, an unwitting public person whose virality brought out the bullies and shamers. Traumatized, she was unable to leave her home, her children were attacked, and she quit the job I love. Okay, all of those things I believe, because people online are awful, and that's not my point. I'm not sitting here making fun of that. I'm just saying, spinning this into a workshop against, quote, ritual public shaming, working to better understand and repair a cultural phenomenon that unhesitatingly and relentlessly tears others down in lieu of choosing kindness. I think people were just laughing because it was funny. When you saw the Coldplay concert thing, were you thinking like, I'm finna tear her down. I'm finna tear her down. No. This is a nuanced opinion. There was hate and I saw it. Misogyny, obviously, because she is the one who I've seen people talk about way more than the dude who was involved. All I'm saying is charging $700 a pop for us to explain for her to explain to us that we should all be nicer to each other is kind of funny. Wait a second. Someone said $750 isn't even the actual price. It's for nonprofit organizations only. Oh, you have to pay $875. Chad, if you're just one person, you got to pay $875 if you want to see her talk about this. Or if it's a group of 3 to 5, you get the steal of $775. That's funny to me. That's the part that I find funny. Someone said you want to make money off your cheating scandal. She does. Off of people who have $800 to drop, I guess. No, that's kind of funny. Someone said D'Angelo buy it. D'Angelo will not buy it. That will not happen. That will not occur. I'm telling you right now. Oh my God, that was so funny. Yeah, no, when I saw like, oh, she's back and she finna charge us to tell us that we were being mean, I'm like, okay. Okay. Maybe that is, someone said, what, a capitalist? No, maybe that really is the mindset that I'm lacking in terms of understanding how capitalism works, or even your cheating scandal. You're like, nah, there's money to be made here. There's a bag to be had. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. Reading chat. Well, that was essentially my, my 3 extra topics that I wanted to get into. We've kind of been trucking along. We talked about Wuthering Heights, which I think was really interesting. People not having kids, weird Washington Post articles about quote unquote performative celebrity activism. We've now talked about this Coldplay concert thing. How have I done all of this in like less than 3 hours? That's wild. I feel like usually what happens is I try to talk about one thing and then I get stuck for 2 hours. Reading chat. There's another person doing this. I forgot her name, but she had an affair with a married man. And now she's using that to pitch her life coach career. Amazing. I think also low key, it kind of says a lot about the kind of person who is willing to cheat with somebody. Does that make sense? Work with me because this is a reach. But I'm like, of course, somebody who is equally as unethical as this married person and thinks that this is fine and actually is so okay with it that you're going to get caught doing it publicly because you're not even trying to hide it. Of course, this is turning into, and now I'm going to charge you to talk about it. It's consistent to me logically. I can't. It's a very like not how I think about things, but I almost understand it. I'm like, of course you're doing that. That makes sense. And same thing to the dude. I have equal smoke for him. Of course you had nothing to say. And you're just going to be weaselly and not answer any of these interviews and leave her to field all of these questions and take all the hate and this, that, the other. Because that's the exact kind of person who would be cheating on his wife. It makes sense. Wild. Someone said I got cheated on 10 days before Christmas and I still have to live with him until June. I am sorry to hear that. I hope June, listen, the only positive I have, but it is a positive, June will be here before you know it. You're going to blink and it'll be June, but that's awful. Boo. No, not a cheater fan. Can we just get boos for the cheaters? That's my final thought. If you want to clip me saying boo cheating, not good. Don't clip me. I sound so bad out of context all the time. Anyways, what else do we got? Someone said people don't know what being a capitalist is. It doesn't mean simply making money. I agree, but I think more so there's a mindset that leads to you succeeding really well under capitalist society. And that's what people mean when they're like, oh, this is capitalism. You have to be a kind of person to thrive in this horrible economic environment that we're in. And it's this energy of like this scandal, I'm finna profit. But yeah, no, capitalism itself is a little bit more complex than this. But no, it's all related. It's all related for real. All right. I appreciate the tomatoes in the chat. Boo cheating. So I'm closing all of my tabs. I feel like my computer is acting really slow right now and it's pissing me off. Don't piss me off, computer. Anyways, what we got? What are your thoughts on black tax? I don't know what that means. What is black tax? I don't have a thought on it right off the top of my head. I'll look into it and then get back to you, perhaps. I just like Googled it vaguely, and oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Wait, hold on. Okay. So, are you referring to what is in this Wikipedia page, which is essentially a term that originated in South Africa, refers to money that black workers, especially professionals and other higher income earners, give to their parents, siblings, or other family members, often out of obligation or a deeply ingrained sense of family responsibility? Okay. I'm not like African per se. I am, but you know what I mean by that. So I can't speak to the specifics of this in South Africa, but I will say this right now, though. I will say this right now. Kind of getting into the core issue of familial responsibility. Sometimes I do feel like people don't realize how serious it is. I can't speak to this tax thing, but I have tried to explain to some of my friends who are not necessarily like people of color or whatever, that if you're like, oh bro, just cut your parents off or whatever, it's not as easy for some of us to do that as it may be for others. Or like letting your older relatives talk to you all kinds of crazy ways and stuff like that. And I'm like, you don't understand. I have to do this or I'm gonna die. I think there's like a version of this. There's a version. Someone said that's such a Latino experience. This seems Indian and immigrant. Thank you. Y'all are getting what I'm saying. There's a version of this for so many identities have a version of what this tax is referring to. And I understand the core concept. It is absolutely like, there's no way for me to actually explain the concept of respect. That's how it usually comes across in my community, of this idea of respect for your elders. I can't explain what it actually means. It's so all-consuming. You can't not, or I can't not. I don't know, bro. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. I'm reading chat. Someone said, as a daughter of a Jamaican immigrant. Yeah, no, it's just, it's hard not to believe things that have been, I guess, ingrained in you from before you were born. The preparations are in place to make sure that you were an agent of supporting everyone who came before you. And it kind of tends to frame a lot of things that you do. Hey, I'll give an example of that. This was like just my experience. And if you had this as well, it doesn't always have to do with race, right? But when I went to college, it wasn't just like, oh, congrats, D'Angelo, you're going to college. This is great. It was actually presented to me as like, you are the first person to get a bachelor's degree in the history of our family. I was a child, and it was like, all of this is riding on you, the next generation, to become successful and elevate our profile. And I was a child, and I was like, yes, you're right. I must save our family. I don't know how to explain this in ways that don't sound stupid, but it's like every single thing you do gets filtered through this idea of elevation or continuance, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Oh my God. And it does sometimes make me feel like there is a tax or like an additional pin in every little thing that I'm trying to do. And I'm just like, brother, save me. Someone said, bring honor to our house. It was very that energy for real of like, hey, we are black people in America and you are succeeding a little bit. Don't stop doing that. And I'm like, ah! It's wild. But yeah, no, I'm not super familiar with this idea, but I'm familiar with the idea behind the idea. I really, really am. And of course, too, when you start talking about anytime, the reason I used to not talk about being black a lot or whatever is because you're always going to get some people saying that just sounds like a universal experience. On some level it is, but what y'all don't realize is you get like a POC flavored version of that universal experience. If you are the first person to go to college in your family, they're probably going to be hype about that no matter who you are. I agree with you. All I'm telling you is there's a black version of that where it feels like, oh, if I don't get this degree, what was the point of the civil rights movement? I'm being so serious right now. It might sound like I'm joking. A lot of times I'm thinking, uh-oh, if I'm not getting a bag when so many people died for me to be able to be here, what am I going to do? And you start taking on all of these things on you. You feel like you are holding up history with every single little decision you try to make. You failing, you just failed everybody. Think about how many people had to work hard for you to even have the freedom to fail in the way that you just did. How dare you? I feel it. And it's hard. It's not easy. Yeah, no, it's not easy. And when I talk to people, it don't matter like who you are. There's some version of that I hear commonly. Is wild, man. It's wild. Someone said, I'm so thankful my black family wasn't like this. My Filipino family was, though. Ooh, yeah. No, I believe anybody who tells me they have this experience. I'm like, I bet you do. I bet you do. Because I have my own version of it. I really bet you do. Oh, man. My dad kept saying he came to this country for us, so be grateful. But come on. Oh, man. I think what makes it so difficult, though, someone mentioned Parasite. I already talked about Parasite. I love Parasite. Wait. I love this comment right here. Someone said, just cut them off. Dude, they literally inflicted me with the curse when I came out of the womb. How can I cut it off? It's me. They molded me. I was born in the ancestor veneration. I was molded by it. You can't cut off yourself. That's the thing about it, is like all the things that I'm talking about live inside of me. They're a core part of me. It's too late. I think this way. I think in terms of a lot of, and sorry, because I'm going to get kind of out there for a second, but there is this idea too that you should constantly be working to unpack things and move past them and do this, that, the other. But you know something that I've had to accept, actually? I've had to accept. Sometimes I think of myself as like a pot, a clay pot containing an essence. And inside that little essence, that's me. That's the real me. But this pot itself, it's been like broken and shattered and resealed or whatever. Work with me with this metaphor. At one point, when I was maybe 12 years old, that pot had already been sealed. It had been sealed and the essence got stuck. I can't change it. I can put pieces back together on the outside of it. I can give it a new paint job. I can do all these things, but the cracks have already sealed when it comes to my actual mindset. And there's only so much I can unpack. I don't know how to unpack this energy that I represent everybody who I can't do it. It's stuck in there. We can't get it out. All I can do is try not to go off of it as a vibe. That's the only thing I can do now. I can't shut off the little firefly inside the pot screaming like I'm wrong. This is bad information that you're basing your life on. Well, it's the only information I have. I can't fix it. I can't fix it. Someone said, I don't think it's necessarily a curse. Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't describe it as a curse either. Because like on some level, it's quite a beautiful thing to think that you are a product of so many people fighting for you. I do genuinely believe that. I know it's true. And I'm so grateful for that. And because of that, I do want to make everybody proud. I really do. It's not all a curse. And also, my family's there for me in a way that like I would pretty much be nowhere without, for sure. But it's kind of hard not to let it turn toxic. That's the problem. You take this really deep love, a love beyond words, and it's a love that sustains me, but unfortunately it's also used to paint over any and every bit of toxic energy that families often propagate upon each other, making life more difficult, etc. And so it's like, darn, how do I keep the love but reject the part of it that is not serving us anymore? It's not easy to do when it's all the same thing. Anyways, that's enough about that. That's enough about that from me. I don't have any deeper thoughts or opinions on that. Maybe I'll come back in 20 years and be like, actually, I've totally changed my tune and I'm so much more healed and I've moved on and all that stuff. But I'm like, that's all I've got for right now. That's all I've got for right now. I don't know how to undo some of this stuff, and it's not beneficial for me to try to figure it out. So I'm going to try to be the best person I can in spite of it. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. All right. What else we got, chat? What else we got? People keep asking me, or someone keeps asking me, do I have thoughts on Jaguar Wright? I don't know who that is. Is that a human? That sounds like a person. Jaguar Wright? No thoughts there. Sorry. Can't answer that question. Sometimes people ask me questions and they're like, D'Angelo, what do you think about this thing? And I'm like, I don't know what to say. Sorry. But I'll look into it and then maybe I'll have an opinion. Reading chat. Reading chat. Who else we got? Bad Bunny. Do I have thoughts on Bad Bunny? I do have thoughts on Bad Bunny. I do. I have thoughts on Bad Bunny, chat. Let me give you Bad Bunny right now. Bad Bunny thoughts. I'm so inspired by somebody who can piss y'all off just by existing. I'm talking about a certain kind of like angry conservative who gets so pissed off at the idea of Bad Bunny singing in Spanish and being popular. It actually brings me so much like joy. The level of crash out that people have over Bad Bunny, it makes me happy. I'm sorry that this is happening. I would prefer there was no Bad Bunny crash out. But when I see like, oh, Bad Bunny's finna do the Super Bowl and everybody's like crashing out over this, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. So I hope he keeps pissing off a certain group of people with a certain group of opinions. And because yeah, I'm here for all of it. Here, let me show you how mad it was. Alternate Super Bowl show. Was it Turning Point? Okay, cool. I didn't make this up. People got so pissed off at the idea of Bad Bunny showing up to the Super Bowl and singing in Spanish that conservatives said, I am going to start our own Super Bowl halftime show. And it says headliner to the Bad Bunny's rival headliner to Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show. They're trying to get Kid Rock and all these other conservative celebrities who I don't follow, because actually I really don't pay attention to the conservative sphere of influence. And they're trying to have their own Super Bowl show because they're actually that mad. So I think Bad Bunny's doing great. I think he's doing great. Someone said Gachi Akuta is so good. Gachi Akuta is so good. I would have to agree with you. It's so cool looking. Well, oh wait, I haven't watched it all, so I can't vouch for it. But what I saw of it was great. It was great. Mid-rock, yeah, very much so. All right. What else we got? What else we got? Everything they do is soaked in insecurity and desperation. Agreed. It's the fact that like y'all actually think this makes you look cool. Like you're throwing a tantrum and you're like, wah, we're going to start our own halftime show. I'm like, this is just sad, man. This is just sad. This is bad. Reading chats. Did you watch Transformers 1? What is Transformers 1? Is that the first Transformers live action movie that came out in like 2008? Or is that a different movie? Okay, this is not Transformers 1. There's actually a Transformers 1. Hold on. This is Transformers 1 in my maybe I'm just really old, but if you say Transformers 1, I'm like, yeah, I was there in 2007 watching this Michael Bay movie, which has every single flaw of a Michael Bay movie, but was still quite iconic to me because I was 10, I think. 9. But no, as for this animated movie, I would totally watch it. I love the Transformers. I really do. Because I watched this when I was 9. You know what I love actually? Hold on. This is such a good movie. It's from the 80s. Oh, it's just called The Transformers the movie. Okay, it's from 1986. This is not great in the traditional sense of being like a very compelling movie to the average viewer. But when I tell you that this is something special, this was because I had watched this in 2007. And then my dad was like, no, you got to watch the real Transformers. My dad did the exact thing that I'm doing right now. I realize where I'm telling you, no, y'all got to watch this other Transformers. My dad was like, you need to watch the 1986 Transformers movie. And so I watched this as a kid. And then I was like, oh, this is so dope. They're out there eating planets. They were out there eating planets in that movie. It was actually really scary. And then I watched this as a 10-year-old. This is really funny, right? Transformers 1986. We'll just do some screenshots. Images. Yeah. I watched this as a 10-year-old and then I was like, "Oh. This is gender." Y'all are confused. Y'all are scared. You think kids are going to see a drag queen and get radicalized into the LGBT community or whatever. That's not what happened to me. I saw Transformers and then I got radicalized into being non-binary. I was like, robots in disguise? Oh, like the way I'm in disguise as what people think I am, but I'm actually basically like a robot. I watched this and I was like, I think that a Transformer is my new gender identity. And that is why earlier when I said attack helicopter jokes are stupid and I don't really identify as an attack helicopter. However, it's not completely disconnected from how I experience the world. So yeah, that's how I feel about Transformers. That's how I feel. Someone said you transform. I did. I watched Transformers. This was the agenda right here. My dad had no idea showing me the robot movie. I was like, Transformers? Oh, we finna transform all right. Just you wait. How old am I right now? 9? Oh, just you wait. About 15 years, you're going to get some information that you're not ready for. So funny. Starscream peak. I love Starscream and just the 80s Transformers stuff. His VA, the voice acting performance is so funny. Someone said, do you like to read? I do. I just finished a book recently. I didn't like super love it, but it wasn't bad. I'll talk about books later because when I talk about books, man, I want to go off on the books. Reading chat. Someone said Transformers. Exactly. That being said, there have been way too many Transformers live action movies. Okay, stop. Transformers live action movies. How many of these are there? Oh, nah. You've got Transformers Rise of the Beasts. The Last Night? What? I don't even remember that movie existing. That's the 5th one, according to the AI, which I don't like using as a source. It really is the 5th one. No, dude, they made so many of these darn movies. It's like, stop making Transformers movies, please. I'm so over it. And that's why I'm much more inclined to watch this animated one that you're telling me I should watch. I'll take an animated Transformers movie. I don't want another. But I did watch this one. Where is it? I did watch this one because I was feeling really nostalgic. When did this come out? 2023. I was feeling a certain kind of way. I was like, I want that nostalgia from when I was 11. And so I went to the movie theater and I watched Transformers Rise of the Beast, which is like the 7th installment in the Transformers film series. And I liked it. I reverted to just being like childhood all. I was like, robot animals. I was really sitting there like, I was like, this must be how it feels to be a Marvel fan. I might not be an MCU kind of guy. I'm really not. But I was sitting there watching Transformers Rise of the Beast, and I was like, I'm living. It's just like when I was a kid. So I'm no better. I don't even think this was a good movie. I don't know if it was a good movie because I'm really, really biased. I am absurdly biased. It's predisposed to liking Transformers. All right, reading chats. Someone said share your story graph, please and thank you. I've gone over it on stream before, but what I'm trying to do, chat, I'm trying to prepare a stream segment where I do like a 2025 wrapped. And I want to go over my top 10 books, my bottom 10 books. I want to give you actual descriptions and stuff like that because I think that'll be really fun. But I haven't done that yet, but don't worry. That's coming. Reading chat. Hey D'Angelo, what are your thoughts about Jelly Roll's Grammy speech? I gave my thoughts about that the last stream. It wasn't good. That was my opinion. I did not have great thoughts about that. D'Angelo, don't you have dark mode for Wikipedia? Oh, well, the thing is, whereas I do love me some dark mode. Actually, I don't even know how to change it on here. There we go. This isn't my computer. This is a dummy machine. I don't stream from my actual computer. Why? Because none of my past Google searches would make sense. If I'm over here and I'm like, I'm Googling how long, and then you get a history search result that says, how long do you have to drown someone before they die? Where does that leave me? Then you leave me frantically explaining like, I have never drowned anyone, chat. I was just curious because it happened in the movie. And then I Google, how long do you actually have to drown? How many times do you have to like stab somebody before they, how long between being stabbed and dying is typically occurs? I Google the wackest stuff constantly. I Google the wackest stuff all the time because I just want to know. So yeah, I'm finna Google it. And my search history makes me seem like I've got bodies under my floorboards. Okay, I shouldn't make that joke. Some people actually do that, but that's what y'all would think if I stream from my actual computer. It's a no for me, dog. And then especially like reading books too. You read something in a book that really like pisses you off because it feels unrealistic and you can't prove it. So then you Google that thing. Congrats, your search history looks crazy. And that is why my computer doesn't have any of my settings or history or anything like that. I'm like, I'm not falling into that trap. Please. Someone said how many seconds before brain death? No, yeah, I don't want to Google those things. Or I do Google those things and I don't want them in my history, period. Someone said you're FBI agent. Oh, I know my FBI agent. FBI agent hates me. I know my FBI agent hates me. You have me Googling things like what counts as you have me Googling things like what actually counts as like a threat? Is it a threat if you make allusions to doing things that are dangerous and could harm other people? Me reading like bit by bit, making sure I'm not on FBI watch lists. I'm sure they hate to see me coming. Someone said 10 minutes after drowning is brain death. Oof, that is not good. That's not good. All right, anyways. Someone said thank you for thinking of sparing us. Yes, I'm trying to spare y'all and I'm trying to spare myself. I tell you. What else we got? This is how it is when writing a book. No, for real. Yeah, I've tried to do fiction as well. And my fiction is like horrible things be happening to people. And I want those horrible things to be realistic. So you got me on Reddit being like, Reddit, how did it feel when you were stabbed? Reddit, how did it feel? You got me trying to find, because I can't ever just be that person who's like, I'm just going to write a stabbing and leave it to the imagination. It's a mess. Someone said I just entered the stream. Oh, we were just talking about how... Nothing. We weren't talking about anything. Hey, welcome to the stream. We were talking about Transformers. I wasn't saying anything strange at all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyways, okay, what else do we got for me though? Oh! I have a really funny update. Does anyone here remember the Graham Stephen incident? It happened during my Caleb Hammer live stream and it got kind of overshadowed, but where I got stuck for like 7 minutes trying to remember this man's name, and I kept doing weird like permutations of it and confusing him with other people. If you weren't there for that, you didn't miss anything. It was painful content. I just want to say, for anybody who was actually there, that might actually just be 5 people. That might be only 5 people who were there. I want you to know, I remembered after the fact. That I met Graham. I remembered after butchering his name and confusing him with 5 other people during a live stream. I was like, something about this name is familiar to me. What is it? What is it about this person that's so familiar? Chat, I'm a horrible person. I'm not. I try not to be a horrible person. But every now and then, I'll have moments like this where I'm just like, you are the worst. So yeah, that's a little bit of a conclusion to that incident. I just thought that was hilarious. I Googled it after the fact and I was like, I've had like an hour-long conversation with this person. Someone says, Baby D'Angelo. I know, I was so young. I hate all my old interviews, man. They piss me off. I'm sure they're fine. But like, I hate my old interviews. Actually, let's see what people are saying. Wait, hold on. I'm a little bit curious. I usually don't. I'm not in the habit of just Googling myself and trying to see what people are saying. But I'm always scared to see like how I come off. I'm scared. This is without a doubt the most surprising collab the podcast has ever had. Yeah, I don't really know why he invited me, but it's fine. I clicked to see why his career had ended. Successful strategy. This is a crossover episode I never thought would happen. Okay, I think people were mostly confused as to why I was on this financial advice ? Podcast? I don't know. Okay, well, people seem to enjoy it, so I guess I wasn't horrible. I didn't come across horribly in this podcast. That's great. Someone said, this is my first time watching this, and I love the host for allowing D'Angelo to talk uninterrupted. That's such a nice way to say that I talk a lot and probably seemed so yappy in this podcast. Oh my God, so bad. D'Angelo really has the best parents. He does. Okay, maybe this is nice. Okay, someone said this is the chocolate rain guy. What? Is the chocolate rain guy? Why? Because our voices are a little bit deep. I personally don't even think my voice is actually that deep. But because I was a nerdy black guy, because I was a nerdy black guy, I got to be the chocolate rain guy. I got to be Tazon Day. How come anytime I get locks, I grow out my hair, I grow out my locks, and then you're like, oh, it's Whoopi Goldberg. And then I'm like, oh, they got me on the Whoopi Goldberg thing. And then I talk a little bit and I'm like, oh, I have a unique voice or whatever. And like, oh, it's the chocolate rain guy. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to shave off my hair. I'm finna shave off all my hair. Nobody's actually going to get me. Who are you going to compare me to now? And it's like, oh, it's RuPaul. RuPaul is streaming now. When will I finally have an iteration? When will I have an evolution that is just 100% my bag? There will be no other people to compare me to. No other successful black person to be like, oh my God, D'Angelo's this guy now. I've been Whoopi Goldberg. I've been the Chocolate Rain guy. I've been RuPaul out of drag. Who is up next? Who? Tell me in advance so I can avoid it. Anyways, that being said, Tay actually seems pretty cool from what I've seen. And I'm not knocking on him. But yeah, no, like y'all, I've got my eye on some of y'all. Somebody said the glasses. No, we really do. Here's the thing. Actually, okay, look. Someone says the cheekbones. Well, I mean, on the one hand, yes, because RuPaul like serves. He's trying to surf, and I'm trying to surf. So I understand. If you are going to compare me to people, I hope it would be people who are glamorous and successful, right? Even though I don't think RuPaul is a good role model in general. But that being said, I had another pair of glasses that I was going to wear. Oh, Cynthia Erivo, I've already gotten them. You ever seen my profile picture? Hold on. Let's pull it up. I'm sure it's somewhere here in my OneDrive. Trust when I tell you I've been there. We done seen the Cynthia Erivo comments. They were out here like, wait, I'm going to make it bigger. Oh, I can't make it bigger. They were out here like, we got her. Is Cynthia coming to live stream for us? Obviously, I don't look like any of these people, but it's more so like, well, this is what I get for being a little bit dramatic and bald. Now I got to be Cynthia Erivo as well. Wild. Anyways, what I was going to say. Wait, hold on. I just realized those were the glasses I was going to wear. Wait, let me pull it back up. I was going to wear these glasses on my stream. They're cool or whatever. I like them, but I just like these more. And as cool as these are, these also have a really bad glare to them. And I didn't want there to be bad glare. And I really wanted to go with just the black glasses. And so I got scared of people saying like, I'm like, they're going to say I look like RuPaul. God forbid I put on glasses like this, show up bald. I'm going to avoid the RuPaul comparisons by wearing funky glasses. But then it kind of hit me and I was like, actually, you know what, let them just say it. I was like, I put on my RuPaul glasses and I patted my RuPaul bald head and I was like, let them say it. It's fine. I can get through this. I've gotten through people calling me the wildest things you ever did see. I'll take RuPaul. And that's the last I have to see. That's the last I have to say about that. But yeah, no. PSA, not every bald black person is Cynthia Erivo or RuPaul. Not every person with locks is Whoopi Goldberg. Not every person with a semi-deep voice is Tay Zonday or whatever. I think what someone said, it's hard being pretty. It's hard being pretty. It is. Oh my God. Try being an influencer. Sorry. But yeah, no, it's funny though. It's funny, dog. It's hilarious. Someone said you don't look like RuPaul. RuPaul looks like you. Exactly. I have those octagon glasses in black. Really? Oh, you finna get robbed by me. You definitely will. Because I'm going to take those and just start wearing those. No, I'm just kidding. I like my glasses. Let me wear them. All right, what else we got? Someone said we know why. Well, I mean, here's the other thing too, chat. It's hard not to be bore, I guess, or like a killjoy, because it's like when most people who make this comparison are just joking, you know, I don't want to come off super strong like, oh, this is racist or microaggression, because then I look crazy. Honestly, I'm not super dissimilar from the people I've mentioned. It's a reasonable comparison, and people get compared to other people all the time. I don't think it's a uniquely, but what my first thought is like, why is there always some more famous black person that I just keep those, I keep those thoughts in my brain, because I'm like, they're going to get mad at me. They're going to get mad at me if I explain that it's possible that the scenario is a little more complex than a funny joke. They're going to get pissed off. So a lot of times when I see things, I'm just like, let people have fun. Not everything is racism. Even if actually low key, it might still be influenced by it. Don't do this. Don't hit the button. Don't say it. They're gonna hate you. I try not to be. I try to speak up, but I think when it comes to me personally, I don't. Someone said friend who's too woke vibe. Like, I'll speak up about other people experiencing things that are microaggressions or whatever all day, but when it comes to myself, I'm usually just like, no one's trying to upset you, and you don't have to turn everything into an annoying. It's so bad. Oh my god, it's hard, y'all. It's not easy. It's not easy. I never know what to say or what not to say. It's not easy. All black people don't look alike. And I know that's not what most people are saying when they compare us. But oh my god. It's tricky. It's tricky. Someone said you kind of look like D'Angelo. Thank you. I think I do kind of look like D'Angelo. Someone said having to choose battles is the worst. Okay, you know what it is though? You know what it is? I think personally that people think that when I bring things up, I'm like really deeply offended. In fact, we might have sort of seen this recently. I'm not going to name names. We might have seen this recently where someone reacted to one of my videos and thought that I was like super pissed or crying at them. But I think to me, a lot of this stuff is just really neutral. And if I'm just kind of like, it's kind of funny that there is always some like, you know, famous black person that black people get slapped with the lookalike accusations and there can only ever be one version of you or whatever. If I was to say that, you're going to have a group of people being like, oh my god, he's offended. D'Angelo is like upset and scared and thinks everyone on the internet is being racist and is a victim and is a crybaby. And I'm like, I was literally just neutrally saying, with no hate or malice, it's just interesting that there is always some more popular black person who did something first that you're going to get compared to. I wasn't calling you. People act like I call them slave masters. Like, I wasn't really doing the most. I wasn't ever doing the most. Sometimes I feel like when you try to talk about things, people will act like you're doing the most. And I'm like, I was doing the least. I was just trying to throw something out there, like a vibe for y'all to catch. And y'all thought, I don't know, it's wild, bro. It's wild. Anyways. Reading chat, someone said, have you seen the guy that got beat up by high schoolers during a walkout? Wait, I know who you're talking about. Are you talking about the guy who got into a fight with high school kids over an ICE protest? Sorry, this is pretty political, but okay. Yeah. Dude. This man was actually fighting students over them protesting ICE. I did see this. I got this recommended and I was like, there's no way that you at 45 are out here attacking kids. Were they high school students or I don't remember. Don't know. Doesn't matter. Oh my god, they were literally high school students. He actually saw a bunch of high school students protesting ICE and escalated this interaction with them to the point where all the kids just started having to go to town on him. They actually just started wailing on him because he was threatening them. It says after further investigation, it was determined that you got beat up by a bunch of high schoolers because you were being aggro, trying to disrupt their ICE protest. First of all, take away the political aspect of it. You got beat up by a bunch of kids because you went over there and tried to start something. That is a level of loser behavior that I What do you mean a bunch of high schoolers actually just showed up and jumped you because you were threatening them? This is wild. Secondly, who gets so pissed off? At the thought of people protesting dangerous things that are happening in the streets that you feel the need to intervene anyway? Like, I'm sorry. That was wild. Someone said not condoning violence. Oh, trust. Publicly, I ain't condoning nothing. I condone nothing. Okay, hold on, wait, because I have a thought about that. I'm not condoning this, obviously, but I'm just like, bro, this is one of the most pathetic headlines I've ever read in my entire life. Okay, putting aside ICE protest guy, anti-protest, counter-protest guy, can I say something about political violence? I have a really... Hold on. I'm running the numbers. I'm trying to make sure. How do I say this? My ultimate dream for the world is peace. Peace and prosperity. Prosperity for all. Ultimately, that's what I believe in. For sure. All I'm saying is, a while ago, some people were very politically violent, actually, and now I'm free. I advocate for peace for all people on earth. That's what I want. Eventually, for sure. Actually, if it could happen tomorrow, I would prefer that. All I'm saying is, political violence. Some people who were not me actually were quite politically violent. And now I am a free person. I'm as free as I can be. We can be freer than we are now. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about that. Obviously, it's just peace, love, joy, and prosperity. Obviously, that's really all. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble. I'm not gonna get my stream taken down or anything like that. I just think it's really funny being me and just knowing history and just seeing people be like, no, and I'm like, okay. Anyways, but don't y'all realize, like, what I would prefer is for there not to be like a political scenario in the first place. I don't want political violence to ever cross anybody's mind. That's what I actually prefer. We shouldn't have to protest or counter protest or get labeled terrorist organizations or fight back or do any of these things. I actually do genuinely want some sort of very, dare I say, like borderline liberal kumbaya for all of us. I also just understand that doesn't happen when you try to be very kumbaya with everybody. You're not going to get there. That's not how that has worked historically. And that is why you have to be really careful about people getting labeled, say, aggressors or agitators or this, that, the other. You always have to pay attention to who is asking for what. That's all I really got to say about that, man. Someone said when I cut my hair, they told me I looked like Lupita. If I did it now, I'm sure I'd get Cynthia. Yeah, probably. Which, by the way, can I also say another thing too? That is a pretty fire comparison, low-key. Like, for as much as... Oh, I should specify. For as much as I was complaining, if y'all told me that I looked like Lupita Nyong'o, I would never shut up about it. I'd be like, you said I look like who? You said I look like who? Oh, nah, trust me, I would never shut up about that comparison. But anyways, I'd be like, someone would make my whole, I don't look anything like her, but I'm saying, sometimes I get compared to people and I'm like, oh, really? Tell me more. Oh my gosh. People are saying she's stunning. Nah, she's got it, bro. She's got it. Lupita Nyong'o is definitely the one. And she A good actress. Y'all ever seen her in some of these movies? She does the most as well. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. All right, reading chat. D'Angelo, what are your thoughts on the Blake Lively and Taylor Swift text messages that were released regarding the lawsuit Blake Lively has with Justin Baldoni? I don't love the idea of reading celebrities' text messages most of the time. I really don't. I know in my last video, I actually just read celebrity text messages because those were released by the celebrity. What Taylor Swift might have said publicly, or she thought or privately, what she thought she was privately saying about anything, I don't want to signal boost that and be like, let's all make a video about Taylor's private text messages, because I'm like, that is... I don't care how famous you are. Like, that sucks. I'm not going to be that guy who is like, dang, your private thoughts about the scenario got released. I mean, it depends though. Because like, there are contexts in which, you know what? I'm like, release it all. But this was not one of them. This is not one of them. All right, what else we got? Someone said, did you get a new chest tattoo? I did not, but I want more. This is just the same script I've always had here. Well, not always, but yeah, no, I definitely want to like keep going with the chest tattoos for sure. Someone said everyone has the right to privacy. I do believe that almost everyone has the right to privacy. That being said, I don't want to just suddenly start talking about the Epstein files because that's a bit of a heavy topic shift. I believe almost everybody has a right to privacy. Almost everybody. But those files? Nah. Expose that. Drop them. Unredact that. I'd be so unprivate. Y'all was in emails talking about what? No. I don't believe in privacy anymore. I really don't believe in privacy anymore. I truly do not. What else? Someone said on the prior topic of adultery, do we talk about Ned Fulmer here? I mean, he's not like a banned topic or anything. I don't have too many thoughts about him. At one point, I was kind of looking into, I just wanted to see the things he was getting into today, but I didn't feel like it was a very compelling video. I might include it as a smaller topic somewhere else, but yeah. What else we got? Someone said redact only the victims. Yeah, exactly. Yes, please don't blow people's lives up more than they have been. But no, I'm sorry. You were in those email chains saying what? Some of the stuff that has been released, I'm just like, this is wild. Oh wait, I do want to say this though. This is like, you got to be careful how you word this opinion, because I don't want it to sound like I'm advocating for something I'm not. Not every single mention of somebody in those files though means anything. That is, I just want to say that. Hey, you got some people in here. Hold on, look at this. You got some people in here. If you are in the files, I think 3,300. Was it 3,300 times? I think they said this one guy was in here 3,300 times. Brother, if you're in the Epstein files 3,300 times, or hundreds of times, like Donald J. Trump, or all these times or this, that, the other, yes, it very much means something that you're in those files. Okay? That being said, if you control F and just find somebody's name and they're in there, I really do need people to understand not all celebrity mentions in those files are created equal. Okay? It's not all the same thing. It's a no for me, dog. But that being said, like, don't see that celebrities are in there and then try to excuse it like, oh, well, it doesn't mean anything. It often does mean things, but it's truly just, there's so much information. You could get mentioned tangentially and somebody can control F and find you in the files. It's like, it's not all the same thing, but it's still way too much horrible stuff regardless though. Somebody said Obama was in there because they kept talking about him. Yeah, like there's so many names that are in there. There's so many names, but there's not all the same. That being said though, People are definitely trying to use that to defend certain people. And I'm like, stop it. Stop it. You know that they're in there for a reason. Did you see Iron Lung? Not yet, but I will. I am looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Reading chat. Did you see how people replied to Lizzo when she said the same thing the other day? I did see that. Have you watched Heated Rivalry yet? Yet? Food recommendations in Houston? Oh, I've only been to Houston like twice, unfortunately. And let me tell you right now, y'all need to learn how to drive. Y'all need to learn how to drive in Houston. Y'all piss me off. Listen. I don't sit around talking smack about people on the internet, especially like communities of people, but I'm from San Antonio. Okay, first of all, nobody in San Antonio can drive either. But what is the traffic in Houston? What is the traffic in Houston? We could have Houston beef all day. I was locked in. I am tapped in enough to have Houston beef. I'm from San Antonio, so I have beef with Houston. I have beef with Austin. Why is that city laid out the way that it is? Pisses me off. There's some really cool things there, though. I've been to like cool museums and stuff in Austin. Austin pisses me off. I have beef with Dallas because I just don't like Dallas. I actually don't know why I dislike Dallas, but I do. I've been there as well. I feel like low key, it's like a San Antonio thing to just think that San Antonio is the best city in Texas. And I am so toxic about the 210. I'm like, yes, we are the best city in Texas. We really got it popping. There's some beautiful places all over the country. All over. Me calling Texas a country, that's more Texan than anything. There's some beautiful places. Houston has a lot of beautiful people in it. You know what I mean? People doing amazing things, etc. But I've got that San Antonio pride for real. I'm like, y'all can compete for number 2. Y'all can compete for the second coolest city in Texas. It's always finna be San Antonio. Period. That's on period. Just kidding. I love everyone. Someone says San Antonio kind of sucks. No. San Antonio does not kind of suck. We can't do that. I could let y'all yak it up about any other place. I was 2 years old. I think I was 2 for real when my mom moved to San Antonio. I was 23 years old when I moved out. Let's refresh that. I was 2 years old when my mom brought me to Texas. I didn't get out of San Antonio until I was 23. Ain't never finna let nobody say nothing about San Antonio. It's really that city. It's popping. Everything is popping. The people are popping. The food. Crazy. Name y'all's top 10 restaurants right now before you say anything. Quickly. No, you don't even need to name them. People be cooking things in their houses that are better than anything y'all could serve in restaurants elsewhere. San Antonio is so fire. That being said, like, it's still really painful because it's just a place with administration, and so bad things happen. And not everything that happens in San Antonio is good. It's not really like a shining beacon of anything. Unfortunately, there's a lot of problems in that city for real. If I stop being silly for a second, that I could definitely admit. But like, San Antonio is really it. Someone said, is Taco Cabana still a thing? It better be. The Riverwalk was gorgeous. Yes. So the Riverwalk alone is better than anywhere in Texas, and I'm from Dallas. Exactly. No, because hold on. Listen. Let's do this real fast before I hop off. What time is it? Oh, I got 3 minutes to glaze San Antonio. Okay, let's look at Dallas, for example. I'm just going to Google Dallas, Texas. That's really cool looking. This is dope. I'm not going to lie. Okay. You know, it is what it is. It's such a blurry picture, but it is what it is. Like Dallas, y'all popping a little bit. Let's look at Houston. Houston is actually kind of lit, if I'm being honest. It really is. Oh, look at all the green. That's beautiful, actually, right? Love me some Houston. But y'all, Y'all. Where's y'all Riverwalk at though? Where is it? Why are all these pictures so blurry? It's gonna piss me off. Okay, just pretend this picture is in HD. Oh, it loaded. All I'm saying, where it's at though. Hold on. Where is y'all's tea gardens? The Japanese tea garden, botanical garden in San Antonio? I'm sorry. It just ate up all the rest of y'all's botanical gardens. Every flower in the rest of y'all botanical gardens just died. None of you are coming close to the Japanese tea gardens. They're so beautiful. You feel like you're being transported into another realm. What y'all got? Where y'all caves at? The caves of it all. The Natural Bridge Cavern. Okay. Where is it? I guess this isn't actually in San Antonio proper, but it's near San Antonio. It's near San Antonio. We claim the Natural Bridge Caverns. We are just in the caves getting lit, okay? Who else's city y'all be like, yeah, we're in the caves, we're in the woods, we're at the river. San Antonio is really just built different. It's built different. And we have authentic Mexican food. I'm not even Mexican, so I'm not here to argue the nuances of it. But listen, I had a lot of friends. Oh my God, am I really saying some of my best friends are Mexican? Some of my best friends were Mexican, and they were serving the craziest stuff. And when you go to an authentic Mexican restaurant, the food tastes the same. I leave San Antonio and I try to find some good Mexican food, and what does it taste like? Not like the stuff I had at San Antonio. That's the nicest way I could put it. We have all of this and authentic Mexican food. Now what? Anyways, that being said, oh yeah, and we got the Spurs. Exactly. And we got the Spurs. So that's on period. We don't have like football per se, but our basketball team is pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Someone said I may just be boring, but Houston's museum district is actually really fun. No, I do want to go back. To Texas at some point and see the surrounding areas and not just be like a snob. And I'm just kidding. I don't think San Antonio is better than any other place. It's just the only place I know. So it's like Stockholm syndrome. For 20 years, I was like, please let me out of San Antonio. Let me out. Oh my gosh. Someone said, how's the San Antonio Asian food scene? Persian food? We do have some good restaurants here and there, but it's definitely mostly Mexican food that you're going to get, if I'm being honest. Mostly that. What state do you live in now? I live in North Carolina. Someone said the Texan governor is awful. Oh no. Yeah. Dude. Our government is like... Someone knocking on my door? Weird. Maybe they're knocking on someone else's door. Okay. I was about to end the stream anyway. And then right as I was about to transition into ending the stream, someone was knocking. Oh, I bet. They must have heard me talking about my browser history. Just Googling the drownings and the stabbings. That might be the FBI. Okay, y'all. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go see... Why is somebody knocking? I'm gonna go see what's up. And I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll probably be back on Saturday as long as nothing weird is happening.